Councilor Santos, can you hear us? Okay. Okay, I just got word, we're still waiting for Councilor Santos to log into the open session.
Is she on?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, there she is.
Councilor Santos, can you unmute yourself, please? There you go.
No.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Vice
Thanks for
President.
being patient with me.
No, that's okay.
Okay, motion to ratify the police FOP contract, union contract.
We need to make a motion to reconvene.
Oh, motion to reconvene, sorry.
Second.
There a motion been seconded, I'll second it, to reconvene. All in favor? Aye.
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 And we're gonna only do that once. I have to go down the list with the other ones. Okay, everybody's on. Vice President, go right ahead.
Motion to ratify the police FOP union contract.
Second.
We have a motion second to ratify the contract. Gonna poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
Aye.
Councilor Santos,
Aye.
Councilor Toronto.
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative as well.
Okay. Motion to authorize town administrator to execute the sick bank agreement for Craig Smith.
Second.
The motion is second. Council Vice President, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
Aye.
Councilor Santos,
Aye.
Councilor Toronto.
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative as well.
Okay. Is there another motion?
The motion to pass said resolution.
Okay, I'm gonna recuse.
I'll make that motion. Motion to
Okay.
pass the resolution.
Second.
Councilor Flynn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
Aye.
Councilor Santos,
Aye.
Councilor Toronto,
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas,
Aye.
and I as well vote in the affirmative. Okay, we can get the Vice President back. There you go.
Okay, motion to recess.
Second.
It's not sealed.
Oh, sorry, I'm all over the place tonight. I apologize. Motion to seal the executive session minutes.
Second.
We have a motion second to seal. Vice President, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
Aye.
Councilor Santos,
Aye.
Councilor Toronto,
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative as well. I'll entertain a motion to recess until 7 PM.
So moved.
Second.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
Aye.
Santos, Councilor
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas, and I as well vote in the affirmative.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I'll see you, everybody at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everybody mute.
Changes anything that we have to take that more seriously.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Before we get started again, I'd like to remind everyone, if you're home and you're not speaking, I'd ask that you mute yourself because it gets very confusing when you hear a number of conversations going on at the same time. So I just ask you to pay attention, to mute yourself. And if you're on for a long length of time, and you're going to get up or you're going to go grab something to eat or something, you may want to think about just taking yourself off a video and just black yourself out. Okay, having said that, Vice President,
Okay, motion to reconvene, Bob.
Okay, we have a motion to reconvene. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, hold the council. Vice President.
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Yeah. Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas, and I vote in the affirmative. Council Von Villas, you're on mute. I read your lips. I'd like to make a motion at the request of the AIPC to move item number 43 up to the front. So item number 43, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Council Vice President, how do you vote?
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas,
Aye.
in the affirmative as well. Okay, as our representative to that, do you want to make a comment, Rick, or you want to,
I would in the,
good comment, thank you.
yeah, as brief as I can make this. So this is a new appointment to the AIPC. It's not a reappointment, so it's not a known, they aren't known to the AIPC. At the request of the executive board, they would like the opportunity to at least meet these individuals, as two of them, so that they can give them a grasp on what the mission is and what the duties may be down the road should they be appointed. I think as a courtesy to the IPC, they've done this in the past, that we should move this to the next council docket, please.
Any council have an issue with that? Okay, seeing none. I'll make a motion that we move it to the next docket. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, Council Vice President, how do you vote?
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
You're welcome.
Vice President,
Okay, motion to act as a Board of License Commission.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Council Vice President, how do you vote?
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas, and I vote in the affirmative as well. Board of Licenses, number 2, continued from August 17, 2020 and September 21, 2020, regular meetings. Advertised and abutters have been notified. Application of Rock Lobster, 6'9" LLC, DBA Rock Lobster, 59 Aquidneck Avenue for Class BV liquor license to be used at the same premise. New application to be withdrawn at the request of the attorney.
Motion to withdraw said application at the request of the attorney.
Second.
Have a motion and second to withdraw. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative as well. Thank you. Item number 3, advertised and butters have been notified. Application of Breakwaters Cigar and Whiskey Lounge LLC, 769 Aquidneck Avenue for Class C liquor license to be used at the same premise. Application includes request to expand hours to close at 1 a.m. Fridays, Saturdays, and night before legal holiday per Rhode Island General Law 37-3-7-8E. And this is a new request.
Okay, motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
The motion is second to open the public hearing. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. Okay, do we have anybody that would like to comment on the issuing of the Class C?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, members of the council. For the record, my name is Eric Brainsky. I'm an attorney with offices at 1543 Fall River Avenue in Seekonk, the law firm of Brainsky Levinson. I'm representing the applicant, petitioner, Breakwater Cigar Bar and Grill LLC.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, as the council may be aware, this application is for a Class C license, and this is for a upscale cigar and whiskey lounge. It's located at 769 Aquidneck Avenue, which is located in the limited business zoning district. It is currently in a, what I'll term a strip mall, small strip mall for all intents and purposes, next to the Custom House Coffee Shop, which I know a lot of folks in Middletown are very, very familiar with, and hence the Class C license. So what the Class C license is it's a very peculiar license in terms of Rhode Island. It allows you to serve a full array of liquor, alcohol, beer, wine, etc., and also have in-house cigars, etc. And what it also does is it allows you to sell prepackaged food, although that's not really within our plans as the time may be. Unlike a BV license or your normal liquor license, there is no kitchen, there is no health inspection for food, nothing along those lines. So it's very, very limited. But for the nature of what my clients are proposing, it does make a lot of sense. This is going to cater to not only the locale and the folks on the island that are in the premium cigar community, and believe it or not, it's growing. It's in its new heyday, as they say. But they're also going to cater to, obviously, the tourist industry, the boating industry in the summers, and we hope to be a staple of Aquidneck Island and Middletown for years to come. It'll be the only one of its kind on the island. So as the application suggests, it's a Class C license, which allows hours of operation to be from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. under state law. However, because of some of the concerns raised at the zoning board, which I'll get to in a minute, my clients are proposing on a daily basis from 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. And then Class C license allows by permission to have hours of operation extended till 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday nights and the nights before a legal holiday, which is Class C specific. So that is something that we are asking for, the 1 a.m. For those 3 exceptions from the board, if they so should approve. It has received a special use permit from the zoning board. We had a full public hearing before that. There were 2 conditions imposed at the zoning board, which we're going to adhere to and would happily adhere to it as a condition of the license approval. No outdoor seating, number 1. And number 2, no entertainment. So we're not going to have, live music or things like that in this venue. And that's really it from a overall 10,000, 5,000 foot view. And I'm happy to answer any questions. I have the owner of the LLC and the manager, Mr. Ron Reed, here tonight, who can tell you a little bit more about his vision. And also the general manager of the proposed establishment, Brian LeBeau, who is the proprietor, a sole proprietor and owner of Churchill Cigar Lounge in East Providence. He's been in business, I believe, around 8 years. He can tell you very successfully up there, and he's going to be the general manager of the lounge, responsible for training, hiring, oversight of employees, that kind of thing. So if you have further questions for me at this time, I'm happy to answer, but if not, I could turn it over to Mr. Reed to introduce himself.
Have any questions of the attorney Brinsky? Council Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Could you just rattle off those hours again, please?
Yes, so on a daily basis, we are going to agree to restrict the hours of operation from 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. instead of what we're allowed to do under state law is from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. So we're going to go to 9 to 12. And then Friday, Saturday, and the nights before legal holidays, we're asking for permission to stay open the extra hour until 1 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Flynn.
Mr. President,
Council Santos?
One quick question. What was in this premises before this new business got in?
My understanding, there was a number of businesses beforehand, but the most immediate business before this was like one of those virtual golf simulators.
Okay, thank you. You've answered my question.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Vice President, did you have a question?
Yes, I did. So Eric, how do you, I know you said one of the stipulations from the zoning board was no outdoor seating. So are you going to be able to survive, or are you going to be able to meet the CDC regulations? Because I know that most businesses that are trying to make it now, especially restaurant, I'm not familiar with this type of business. I'm sure there's capacity issues with the social distancing, the 6 feet. So how's that going to work for you?
Well, Mr. Rodriguez, it's a good point. And this isn't the first liquor licensing and business board I've been in front of in the last 6 months that have asked similar questions. And I think if you ask my client directly, he'll say, I'm the only crazy man opening a small indoor restaurant type establishment in the middle of a pandemic with all these restrictions. Bottom line is this: it's out of our control, and we will adhere to the state regulations and the executive orders imposed by Governor Raimondo and or the CDC until they're lifted. So capacity and if there's like hours of operation that are specially related to COVID, I mean, we're going to comply with them to the letter of the law, and we'll just do the best we can.
What is the capacity?
Well, and I think Mr. LeBeau can answer that a little better, but it's my understanding right now that you can in a tavern environment like this, you can have people every other seat that are effectively 6 feet apart, and they could sit at the bar if the bar has one of those plexi retainers, so to speak. That is, I think it's like 8 inches from the bar up and 12 inches from the top down. And again, Mr. LeBeau can tell you more. Otherwise, you can't have any people at the bar at all. And Mr. LeBeau's establishment, I could tell you from personal experience, because it's a lot smaller than this, has opted not to have any people at the bar. So his capacity's been cut down to like nearly a quarter of what it usually is. But we're doing what we can to survive, and that's what we're going to do here. Hopefully, by the time we're open here, most of those regulations will be gone, but we'll have to see.
Okay, so there's other businesses back there, so you guys have enough parking. I'm sure that was all vetted at the zoning board.
Yes, the building inspector confirmed that at the zoning board.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Counselor, was there any other conveyances placed on you in addition to that?
By the zoning board?
Yes.
No, the conditions imposed by the zoning board were no outdoor seating and no entertainment.
Okay.
And to confirm that, Mr. President, I actually went back and listened to the video just before this meeting to confirm, because there was a discussion about hours of operation, but I think the decision of the board at the time was to kind of leave that to the council. But because of the concerns raised at the zoning board, we decided to open the doors a little bit later. The concern was early, not late, at the zoning board.
Okay. Councilor Flynn?
Thank you, Mr. President. So we did get, the council did receive some notes from the zoning official. And at the zoning board, your hours of operation were to be open Sunday through Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then Saturday, 8 a.m. to midnight. Thursday through Saturday, 8 to midnight. So you're opening later and you want to stay open a little later. And my question is, what other, and I guess I understand that the Custom House Coffee used to have a liquor license, and they were open serving till 10 p.m. as the story goes. Are there other businesses in that area that are open till 12 or 1 a.m.? Do we have that information?
If your question is to me, Ms. Flynn, I can't speak to that immediate area, but I know there are restaurants that are open until midnight, and I'm sure 1 a.m. In Middletown. I don't know any specifics. In terms of the change in the hours of operation, I think we had originally proposed that we were going to open from 8 to 10 p.m. every night of the week. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we were seeking to open till 1, from 8 to 1. That was what was in our paperwork submitted to the zoning board. But because of the concerns raised at the zoning board, that's why we decided to tailor it down to this and ask for what we're asking for from the council this evening.
Okay, also just for Councilor Rodrick's information, the notes that I'm looking at from the zoning board said that there's approximately 40 seats.
I see it.
Okay, you've got it then.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have entertainment. Will you be having televisions or, jukeboxes or anything along those lines?
I think I'd like to let Mr. Reed and Mr. LeBeau tell you that's more of a business plan issue. But no, I'll turn it over to them. So I'm going to just flip my computer this way. This is Mr. Reed and Mr. LeBeau.
Gentlemen, if you could introduce yourself, your name and your addresses, please.
Sure. My name is Ronald Reed, 126 County Street, Rehoboth, Mass.
Okay.
My name is Brian LeBeau, 72 Dover Lane, Richmond, Rhode Island.
Welcome, gentlemen. Go ahead.
Well, as the owner of the business, my vision is an upscale cigar lounge where we're going to be catering to business executives, obviously the boating community and the vacation crowd that comes in. be able to come in, purchase a cigar, enjoy it with a cocktail. We're also going to offer like cash and carry sales of cigars, with people, headed to the golf course can stop in, grab a cigar or two and head out. That's why we would be open at 9 a.m. in the morning. Currently, the business plan we have, we're going to have approximately 33 seats, where we have it set up where they can be. We wouldn't be able to use all 33 seats with the COVID regulations, but we have it pretty well spaced out where we would easily be able to adhere to the state guidelines. By either by social distancing or by the plexiglass at the bar with the dividers between every 2 seats, things along those lines. Oh, sorry. We're going to have 5 TVs spaced around the perimeter of the facility. As we've stated before, no entertainment. We will be playing music, but it's going to be more of like a background music, just something just taking up the dead silence. Yes, exactly. Either Pandora or a local radio station.
Okay. Any councilor have any additional questions? Vice President, go ahead.
So, I don't know if it's years ago when cities and towns, I think, or maybe it was a state law, I'm not sure, that, a lot of bars, when you used to be able to smoke in a bar and then they went smoke free. Is that not the case here?
No. Good evening. This is Brian LeBeau. I own Churchill Smoke Shop and Lounge. So to answer your question, Mr. Rodriguez, we have to meet a 49 to 51% tobacco to alcohol ratio to eat and drink in the state. Smoke and drink in the same establishment.
Mr. President, so I can clarify that under a state law that permits cigar bars, the primary purpose of the business is the sale of tobacco to be consumed on the premises. So as a result, more than 50% of the business's sales have to come from the sale of tobacco, and that is monitored by the Department of Business Regulation, and the owner would need to provide that financial information to DBR. But that more than half of the sales have to come from tobacco rather than alcohol.
And that's on a quarterly basis. That would be on a quarterly basis. We have to provide those financials.
Thank you. Councilor Lombardi.
Just to clarify what Mr. Regan brought up, these are so-called premium cigars, correct? This is not hookah or anything of that nature.
Correct.
Thank you.
Vice President.
So in the notes, I seen that one of the neighbors, Angelo Botello, he lives kind of across the street from this. So what was his objections? It just said he spoke out about it, but what were his objections?
So, sorry, I had the computer turned. Mr. Rodriguez or Mr. Sylvia?
The handsome guy.
I'm not gonna touch that one.
There you go.
I'll get myself in trouble.
That's it.
No, so my recollection is Mr. Patello was primarily concerned about the early hours of operation. And he was concerned about the school buses and serving alcohol at 6, 7, 8 a.m. when kids were getting off the school bus. And that's what prompted us to say, well, what's the latest we could open? And I think Mr. Reed made a good point of, folks are going out to, play around a golf or, going out on the boat, and they want to run in there and grab some cigars or what they need for the day. And 9 a.m. was about as late as we could push it. But primarily that was the early hours of operation was the concern for Mr. Patello based on my recollection.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilor Flynn.
So, yeah, I'm concerned. I don't think that we have a Class C liquor license in Middletown anywhere right now. And, as the licensing commission, I know that, we got some, or I got some input from the town solicitor about, how to assess this. And in an email, he did state that the issuing authority should consider, amongst other things, the location of the premises to be licensed, the conditions and character of the particular area, and the effect that a new permit may have on the locality. So I'm a little concerned with this type of license and these extended hours in that area. I am not aware of another business that's open past 9 or 10. You go down to Quidnick Avenue in the later evening, and it's pretty quiet, as it should be on a rural road. So I'm not sure. I love the concept. I do. I have friends and family members that would probably support your business. I'm just a little uncomfortable with it in this particular location. I don't know how flexible you are on the closing hours. So that's where my concern is lying right now. I'm not sure it's a great fit. Middletown has a lot of vacant commercial space. You've got high-end clients, maybe down towards the more general business area, West Main Road, near the hotels, and a higher activity and later running businesses that are already established there. I think introducing this here with those hours, it doesn't strike me as appropriate.
Thank you. Anyone else like to comment?
Yes, Mr. President, I would like to. First of all, is it because you are classified as listed as a lounge? You do not come under the strict hours of the of our governor, that the bars have to be closed by 11, if I'm correct on that time. But you're wanting to stay open until 1 o'clock.
Are we talking? Are we talking about COVID, Ms. Santos?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, I think there's a misconception statewide about the hours of operation. The bars and restaurants all over the state are open long past 11 and have been since June. And they're open till 1, 2 a.m. in many places, Providence, Warwick, East Greenwich, East Providence. The rules are that you can't have anybody sitting at the bar past 11. So this lounge is going to have chairs and tables and things like that where they could stay open and just not have people at the bar past 11. Now, again, this is changing on like a weekly basis. So these COVID regulations, God willing, aren't going to stick around forever. But I can tell you from experience that almost every bar in Providence is open far past those hours. They just can't have people at the bar. That's the actual executive order.
Thank you very much.
No problem. And Ms. Flynn, it's a good point, and I respect your point. I would say this as to the overall characteristics of the neighborhood and appropriateness of the site. Our number one, our deal is with this landlord, and it works financially, and it works as a establishment in that location, and we've done our business plan for that. The zoning board has approved it, has found that it's consistent with the comprehensive plan, consistent with the characteristics of the surrounding neighborhood. All of that was vetted and approved by the zoning board in terms of the overall locale and appropriateness of the business. Hours of operation, that's going to be up to the council. But I could tell you in terms of the late night hours, the proposed hours, this is what works with our business model. And I know that Mr. Reed and Mr. LeBeau probably more so can explain why, and I'd like maybe Mr. LeBeau can take a shot at it in terms of, why those hours are so necessary.
Okay, Council, let me We're gonna make comments. I'm gonna give you adequate time, but adequate time is adequate time. I don't want to go off on long tangents on this, okay? So go ahead.
Okay. Yep, so basically, the reason to propose those hours is because people getting out at dinner around 8:30, 9 o'clock, it takes usually about an hour and a half, 2 hours for cigars and, have a drink. So, and then like somebody like tonight, I'll be open until about 12 midnight, 1 o'clock because of the Patriots are playing at 7, right now. And you got baseball and stuff like that, so.
Okay,
So can I respond or,
yeah, go ahead. Just let me acknowledge you first, Counselor. Just-
Okay.
I have other people here besides you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Counselor.
so I just wanted to point out that, the zoning board looks at the proposal from a zoning standpoint and the licensing commission looks at it from a licensing standpoint. So there are different perspectives that are going on. And, I know a lot of restaurants are actually closing earlier in COVID because you can't decide later in the evening anymore to just go out and grab something to eat because they just don't have the business past a certain hour. So I guess I'm wondering if you could, in your business model, if you could consider closing earlier at 9, 10 o'clock, which would be more befit to the area.
I wouldn't, my personal opinion, that would be on Mr. Reed.
That really does not gonna work with our business plan. With the during the summertime, when people are out to dinner, they're gonna be out until getting out of dinner between 9 and 10. By the time they get over to the facility, enjoy their cigar and a drink perhaps. That's why we kind of are requesting these hours.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any other council want to ask any questions? Is there anybody that wants to add anything different from what we've already heard? Okay. Mr. Vice President.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. There's no other people that have called in that want to be heard on this? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to close the public hearing. I'm going to poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
Aye.
Councilor Santos,
Aye.
Councilor Toronto,
You were muted. Yeah.
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. Vice President,
Okay, motion to grant said license with the expanded hours to close at 1 a.m. Friday, Saturdays, and the nights before a legal holiday per Rhode Island General Law 3-7-8E.
Second.
okay, we have motion second. Any further conversation? Hearing none. Vice President, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Flynn,
No.
Councilor Lombardi,
Aye.
Councilor Santos,
Aye.
Councilor Toronto,
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative as well. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you for
Good
your
luck,
time.
fellas.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Welcome to Middletown.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
She didn't vote for it. I didn't do too good.
Okay, motion to reconvene as the town council.
Second.
Motion second to reconvene. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
Aye.
Councilor Santos,
Aye.
Councilor Toronto,
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. Okay, licenses. Continued from August 17, 2020 and September 21, 2020, regular meetings. Application of Rock Lobster 69 LLC DBA Rock Lobster 59 Aquinic Avenue for victualling house license for the 2019-2020 licensing year. This is new. Application request withdrawn at the request of the attorney.
Motion to withdraw said application at the attorney's request.
Second.
And motion is second to withdraw. Any conversation? Hearing none. Poll the council.
Aye.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi, you unmute, Councilor.
Yeah, I'm muted. Sorry. Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative as well. Thank you. Item number 5, continued from August 17, 2020 and September 21, 2020, regular meetings, application of Rock Lobster 69 LLC, DBA Rock Lobster, 59 Aquidneck Avenue for amusement license for the 2020-2021 licensing year. Application to be withdrawn at the request of the attorney.
Motion to withdraw said application at the attorney's request.
Second.
And motion is second. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. Continued from August 17, 2020 and September 21, 21. Regular meetings, application of Rock Lobster 69 LLC, DBA Rock Lobster 59 Aquidneck Avenue for mechanical amusement license for the 2021 licensing year at the request of the attorney to be withdrawn.
Motion to withdraw said application at the request of the attorney.
Second.
The motion is second. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Yes.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. Okay, item number 7, application for a special event permit from the Newport Film for the Newport Film Drive-In at Norman Bird Sanctuary. Car drive-in documentary film screening to be held on Thursday, October 8th, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay, motion to grant said special event permit.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to grant. Conversation. Vice President,
I think this is fantastic. I think the setting is awesome. When you look at the drawing, I just think it's something, they got creative. And I just think the bird sanctuary is a great rural spot to have this. And I think people are it gives people an out as well. So I think it's a really, really good event. I really do.
yeah, I totally concur. I think this is great. I think it's going to give everybody a night to remember. And I sincerely wish them the best, and I'm certainly going to support it.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Enthusiastic, aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative as well. Okay. Application for special event permit from Lori Pagliaroni, outdoor yoga at Paradise Valley Park, October 2, October 3, October 9, October 10, October 13, 16, 17, 21, 23, 24, 28, 30, and 31, 2020. Fridays and Saturdays, 9 a.m. and Wednesday, 5 or 5:30 p.m.
Motion to grant said special event permit.
Second.
That motion is second. Conversation.
Yes, please.
Council Santos.
I'd like to ask a question as to whether or not they were already down there on October the 2nd.
Do we have anybody from them? Brian?
Yes, I'm Lori's husband. She
Name
was down. Yeah, she was down there, sir.
And also the 3rd?
Brian, can I get your name and address, please?
Yes, it's Brian Pagliaroni, 35 Gunning Court.
Okay, thank you, Brian.
You're welcome. Is that a Friday and Saturday, Miss Santos?
Yes, I believe so.
I believe that would be correct.
All right, thank you for the information.
You're welcome.
Any council want to make any comments? Any questions? Okay, seeing none. We have a motion, it's been seconded. We'll poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative as well. Okay, application for special
luck.
permit from Gray Matter Marketing for the Aquidneck 10K running road race, 10K, 6.2 mile distance, start and finish at Second Beach to be held on Sunday, November the 15th, 2020 at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This application was approved prior to the original date was March 2020, which was canceled due to COVID-19. This application was reapproved on May 18, 2020.
Motion to grant said special event permit.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Okay. Is someone that wants to speak on this?
Council President, I'd be happy to speak upon it. Thank you guys for hearing us out today. We're obviously attempting to host an event.
For our records, I need your name and address.
Absolutely. Matthew Gray, 87 Colonel Christopher Green Road in Portsmouth. I'm the president of Gray Matter Marketing. We've hosted events in Middletown for the last 7 years. We've done our best to host them in a safe manner. Obviously, with COVID-19, we're being extra cautious. We would like to host this event in order to fulfill upon the goals of the runners, as well as my business and for our charitable partner, the Norman Bird Sanctuary. So our goal is to host a very distanced road race where we have runners coming in over various periods of time, which we assign to them from the starting time of 10 a.m. Until noon, with the goal of completing the entire race within a 4-hour window. That way the runners can come to us in a steady flow of people versus all at once like you would normally see at one of our road races. That way we can keep them distanced and safe. And then when they finish the race and as when they start the race, we're asking them to literally arrive, cross the starting line, cross the finish line, and then head back home. There will be no fanfare at this event. We will have no post-race festivities. We're really just trying to execute what will be one of the first road races since early March in Rhode Island. And the nice thing is that the timing chips allow us to let runners start at various times and keep their actual times recorded. And once they are across the finish line, again, asking them to head home. We sent you guys a detailed outline of what we were trying to do to take it outside, which is the governor's initiative to get people outside and gathering if they're going to gather outdoors. And again, I think our plan is going to be something we can execute, will satisfy our runners, and will allow our business to move forward in these difficult times.
Okay, thank you. Any council have any questions? Council Flynn.
I just have a comment, and I'm sure that everybody is just itching to get outside and sweat in quantity, but this council on August 17th just denied a 150-person bicycle event for autism. I believe that this application says that the expected persons is 800. And I know that Matt sent in the plan, acknowledged that the outside capacity limit is currently 250. And, they're discouraging spectators from the course, and at-risk people are being discouraged from attending. But, again, it's being run, same issue with Bike to the Beach, it's being run by volunteers. There's no real, enforcement or, follow through, especially with those kinds of numbers. The discussion with the council in August was, we are still under a state of emergency and in COVID. I'm just not sure that things have changed. That's my concern.
Any other council want to make any comments? Okay, I want to make a comment. I think to be consistent with what we have done, protect our residents of Middletown, I'm not going to support this. I think it's, you put together a very articulated and well-drafted plan, but personally, I'm not going to support it because I don't see the ability to police that plan. I really don't. I think there's too much risk for our residents in town. And so for that reason, I'm not going to support it. But I'm going to put the vote to the council.
Would I be allowed to speak for one moment, please?
Go ahead.
To speak to Councilor Flynn. My organization is a professional organization. We will rely on very minimal volunteers. My professional staff would be the ones implementing and organizing the event. And secondly, to Mr. Soviet, Council President, respectfully, I would like to point to the fact that the beaches of Middletown were packed with people all summer long. There were hundreds of cars, thousands of people at the beach. We're organizing 729 runners from the hour of 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. So, we're going to spread those folks out in a much different way than the beach had seen all year. Thank you.
I appreciate your candidness, but there's no comparison. The beach parking that we allowed this year was controlled, was heavily controlled. It was even the square footage of sand was monitored on a daily and weekly basis, the amount of people that we put onto that beach. So I think there's two different things here. I wish we could help you out. I really have always been enthusiastic about events like this and supported them. But to be consistent with what we've done, I'm just one vote, but I'm certainly not going to support it. Any other comments? Okay, put it to a vote. Poll the council. Vice President.
No.
Councilor Flynn.
With a heavy heart, no.
Councilor Lombardi.
No.
Councilor Santos. You're muted, Councilor Santos. No, do it again, Councilor Santos.
No.
Thank you. Councilor Toronto.
Not at this time, no.
Councilor Von Villas.
No.
And I vote against it as well. I'm sorry, but Matt, but that's the way it is. Thank you.
I understand. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, on the consent calendar, do we have any councilors that want to pull anything off the consent calendar? Okay, seeing none.
Okay, motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
I have a motion second to approve the consent calendar and poll the council. Vice President.
Aye.
Councilor Flynn.
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilor Santos.
Yes.
Councilor Toronto.
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas.
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative as well. Thank you.
At 20.
20. Thank you, Vice President. Communication of Carla Simmons and Brian Simmons, Simmons Farm, requesting the council amend the food truck ordinance 113.01.
Okay, motion to receive said communication.
Second.
Motion second to receive. Do we have anybody here from Simmons Farm that would like to make any comments on? Okay. All right, any councilors that would like to make any comments? Vice President.
I'd like to ask Peter about this, about amending this food truck ordinance, Peter. I know I didn't support the other ones, but, you know, being a farmer, and I don't do it full time, I know how much of a struggle it is doing it part-time. Farming isn't the same farming that we all grew up on or all knew. Farmers have to are having to be creative and change the word farming, so to speak. You think of animals, and which they have, but you look at farming like Jan Eckhart does at Sweetberry, and you look at some of the other folks when the Noons is and what they're doing. So I'm always looking to help out. These are lifelong generations of people here that have to change the way they're doing business to be able to survive. They're a large landowner, and I'd like to be able to help them survive if I could, but I want to make sure to see what they're actually looking for, what would have to be amended.
Okay, thank you. All right, let me just stop by this. We have a motion second to receive this communication. I'm going to poll the council. Vice President to receive.
Aye.
Council Flynn.
Yes.
Council Lombardi.
Aye.
Council Santos.
Aye.
Council Toronto.
Aye.
Council Bonvillis.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative as well. So if there's anybody, again, before we move on with any further comments from councilors, is there anybody here that would like to speak in regards to this? Okay. All right, any councilors that would like to make any comments in regards to this?
Mr. President.
Council Lombardi.
Well, I got a question out to Peter, Bob.
Okay, go ahead, Paul. That's fine with me.
Solicitor.
So they've requested that the mobile food truck ordinance be amended to include their property. I'm not sure that that would be the appropriate way of doing this because I get concerned about amending an ordinance to include one specific property owner, because I think what you're then going to get is a series of requests from other property owners. But I would point out that we do have in the zoning code a farm promotion accessory use ordinance that talks about and permits other sorts of things that farmers can do to supplement their income. And if you were going to look at this, my suggestion would be that we look at doing something with that ordinance that might add this as a additional accessory use to a farm. We would probably have to tie in the mobile food truck ordinance at some point as well. But that way, if you think it's something that's appropriate for this particular farm, then it would probably make sense to do it and make it available to other farmers as well. So that would be my suggestion. If it's something that the council thinks that they want to pursue and take a closer look at, that you look at it from the standpoint of the farm promotion accessory uses that are allowed under the zoning code, and then tie it into the mobile food ordinance.
I think that would be a great idea. And I totally concur with the Vice President. I think, you know, the application that Simmons put in there to have a little catering thing there and, you know, for people like them, and they do a lot of charitable work too. They have schools down there a lot. There's a lot of these farmers that, you know, invite the school children down there, and classrooms of teachers take children down there to view the farms and to experience what the farm culture is like firsthand. And I think it's something that we really should take a hard look at.
Mr. President.
Council Lombardi.
So I'm going to agree with Peter on the fact that, you know, there was a lot of debate and a lot of discussion about the mobile food trucks, and we really buttonholed those establishments into certain areas of town. And when we open the door for one, we open the door for others. And I think Peter's right. And Paul, I agree with you. We need to help out Simmons on this. But I think that ancillary use thing with the farms was brought up to us as a council. I'm not sure if it was this council or the term before, where they talked about that and they wanted to create exceptions for farms to have farm stands and the like. And the decision of the council was, let them come to us on an individual case-by-case basis and make their pitch for whatever they want. I'm absolutely all about helping the farmers if we can. I don't care who it is. Because quite frankly, I really wanted to see us do something different back then, you know, but I think we need to help them. There's the ones that are out there are struggling to make it. And so, yeah, I think if they come in front of the council, or if Peter can figure out a way to include it in the current zoning with the ancillary uses, I'm all for it.
Okay. Council Flynn.
So Peter, just to clarify, this wouldn't be something for all food trucks to be on land that's zoned farm or agriculture. This would just be for if the farms own a food truck and they want to do something with their produce as is outlined in the Simmons letter.
Yeah, I mean, essentially it can be anything you want, but that's, I mean, if the idea is that you're going to provide the farmers with an additional outlet to sell their produce or products, then yeah, that's what you would be doing, probably drafting something that allowed them to operate on their own food truck, on their own farm, selling their own products. So once again, if it's something that the council decides they want to consider, we can put something together.
Okay. Councilor Toronto?
It's interesting tying into the mobile food trucks. I think it's great. Another way they can fund their business. So I'm in support of what you guys are all saying and so on. Just a question for Peter. Someone who has a food truck can always go and ask for a special permit to go put their truck on a farm and serve food, right?
Yeah, on a one-time basis, but I think what they're looking for is, once again, the opportunity to sell their own products on a consistent day-to-day basis. So those special event licenses aren't intended to be something that takes place in the same spot every day.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why we would want to tie it together.
You said it probably would cross over at some point, so I just agree with that, I think you're right on putting it on the floor, with the farm and the use on the farm and things along those lines, but I do think it crosses over a little bit. So
But absolutely.
thank you.
Councilor Flynn?
Just a question, Mr. President, if we need a motion to request the solicitor to do a draft with the ordinance, to the ordinance that he thinks is most appropriate, or is that just something we ask him to do?
I think it's the motion and would be to request the solicitor to amend the food service ordinance and bring it back to us.
To amend the accessory ordinance, the farm accessory ordinance, I thought he was going to do.
It would actually be both.
Okay.
Okay, motion to amend the farm accessory ordinance and the food truck ordinance.
Second,
Yeah, a second. Any further conversation?
yes, please.
Councilor Santos?
Is there a fee connected with this?
Always.
I would suggest that the very few that are left on Middletown, that we take back, we don't charge them.
Well, there are fees for mobile food. Eventually, they need to get a mobile food license, and there are fees for those, as you know, that are set by the state.
All right,
But we can address that when I come back to you with something to review.
thank you.
Good thought.
Mr. President,
Councilor Lombardi?
maybe I'm missing something, but I'm not supporting this the way it's stated. I don't think we should be messing around with the food truck ordinance. There was a lot of debate over that, and we made it very clear we wanted food trucks in this town, except for someone who wanted one for a special event. This should be going under the zoning ordinance, and they should come in front of them for exception to the zoning law. Maybe I'm missing it, Peter. But
I need to take a look at it, Rick, because I'm probably going to have to make a little tweak to the mobile food ordinance, so I don't have two ordinances that conflict with each other. That's
okay.
all.
All right, thank you.
The good point,
That's a good explanation.
I think the point is that so they don't overlap, like
Okay.
they won't conflict with one another. Eventually, we're going to address it as soon as the solicitor presents it to us.
I got it. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. We have a motion that's been seconded. Vice President?
Aye.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilor Santos?
Aye,
Councilor Toronto?
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas?
yes,
And I vote in the affirmative as well. Okay. Okay, number 21, an ordinance of the town of Middletown. This is a second reading. An ordinance and amendment to the town code, Title III, Administration, Chapter 36, Fee Schedule, Section F, Police Department, Subsection 7, Firearm Purchase Application Fee. See attached ordinance.
Motion to adopt said ordinance on its second reading.
second,
We have a motion and a second to adopt. Conversation. Okay, hearing none. Poll the council. Vice President.
Aye.
Councilor Flynn.
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilor Santos.
aye,
Councilor Toronto. Councilor Toronto.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilor Von Villas.
aye,
And I vote in the affirmative as well. Thank you. Okay, these are items continued from the August 17, 2020 regular meeting. Town Administrator, memorandum of the Town Administrator, RE FY 21 civic appropriations.
Motion to receive said memorandum.
Second,
We have a motion second to receive. Council Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Yes.
Council Santos,
aye.
Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas.
Aye.
And I also vote in the affirmative. Now, these are items that were left off from the September 21, 2020 meeting regarding civic appropriations. Let me just remind everybody, okay? If there is, during our budget meetings, Council Flynn had mentioned that about going through these one at a time. And to address each one individually. So that's kind of what prompted us earlier at the last meeting to start going through these one-on-one, taking our time to go through them. In the past years, we usually adopted them with a blanket motion, but we haven't done it this time. I'm going to open it up to suggestions on how we want to continue this. However, I'm going to ask that any comments, even by anybody calling in from the charitable organizations, be limited. I'm going to ask that the clerks limit any conversations down to at least 3 minutes. I think in 3 minutes that people can say what they have to say. If there's any further requests by the counselor of any charitable request people, then we'll do it. But I'm not going to entertain 20 minutes of somebody telling me why we should contribute to them. I don't think it's appropriate. I think it's very time consuming, and we're not going to do it tonight. We're going to move through this docket. Okay? So I'm going to make an announcement. We'll begin where we left off from the September 2021 meeting regarding civic appropriations general fund. So if everybody remembers where we left off, our next one, I believe, Madam Clerk, is to authorize the FY 21 civic appropriation to the Houston, Rhode Island Conservative District in the amount of $1,000.
Mr. President,
Council Lombardi.
I don't know if it's the appropriate time to do this, but I want to make a motion before we get into this line by line. I'd like to make a motion that we approve blanket approval for all of the civic appropriations FY 2021 as stated on this docket item that we have. And that includes the civic appropriations for the general fund and the civic appropriations for the Park Recreation Fund. Let's cut to the chase. Let's approve it for these organizations. They're all well-deserved. They're all organizations that need these appropriations. And rather than take it line by line, I'm going to make a suggestion and a motion that we approve them all at this point in time.
Is there a second on that?
Second,
Okay. I'll make a motion. I'll withdraw my motion in regards to the first line item that we're going to talk about. Council Vice President.
So, I mean, and Rick, I agree with you. If anybody has any issues with anyone that wants to talk about one, it's kind of like the consent calendar, you can pull it off. I mean, that's kind of how I think it should be.
Well, we got a second, Paul. Can we vote on the motion and we can talk about it?
Yeah, we have a motion in a second.
I don't like it.
Discussion.
Council Flynn.
Thank you. So I'm certainly all for the efficiency. And Rick, that was for both the general fund and the Parks and Recs fund?
Yeah, for both.
And was that for the fiscal year 2021, what they requested or what we approved during the budget hearing?
Yeah, so FY 2021 approved, Terry.
Okay, so which would be flat funding from last year. So
Right.
two things. I'm noticing that, especially down in the Park and Recreation Fund, that some of the requests are for summer activities, specifically the Butler Basketball Summer League, Looking upwards, summer day camp. Those are the things that just jump out to me. You know, we were prepared to go one by one. We were not prepared to take a look and pull things off. So I'm not comfortable with the fact that you did it for a half a dozen of these civic groups in one manner in September 21, giving them an opportunity to explain how COVID has impacted their budget, but not everybody else. So those are my comments to your motion. I get it. I don't think it's right at this juncture. But that's just me.
Okay, any further conversation? Councilor Von Villis.
Yes, I'm looking at the list of appropriations. People that are asking for the same amount of money. But I think when people are asking for increases, we need to have some discussion about it.
Okay. All right. Any other council want to weigh in on this? Councilor Flynn.
Mr. President,
Oh, I'm sorry, right, go ahead.
Councilor Flynn.
go ahead, Terry.
Well, I was just in response to Councilor Von Villis's point, which was a fair way to look at it, except I'm not sure if the ones who have requested increases or not, when they did their budget, and if they knew the full impact of COVID. I think the ones that were here 2 weeks ago, they have additional information and needs based on what COVID has done to them over the months since these numbers were put together for May.
Councilor Lombardi.
So as I go down the FY 2021 approved, Barbara, on both the Parks and Rec and the general fund, I may be missing something, but it looks like the ones who asked for increases, we level funded from the year before. So I don't see any increases. I see them level funded. I think some of the summer programs like Butler and the others, I think maybe, I believe some of them may be on board tonight, and we may want to hear from them to see how this would impact their program come next summer, even with restrictions. I know that Butler, hang on one second. So I know that Butler usually exceeds the amount that we've given them in the past. And I know that this summer, he did run some programs, but they were by the state guidelines as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know. And again, I think you may want to talk to Randy about this, but I don't see any increases, Barbara, if we level fund.
Councilor Von Villis.
Well, I'm looking at the recreation whatever, and I'm looking at, for example, Little League was approved for $11,000 in 2020, and it's asking for $13,000 in FY 2021. And I'm looking down further at the Narragansett Council of Boy Scouts, 72,000. All I'm suggesting is that any of them that are asking level funding, we blanket approve. We just get them off the table. But anybody who's asking for more money, we give them the opportunity to bring information.
I just think we level fund. The Narragansett Council in FY 2020 got 750. They asked for 1,000. We're going to give them 750. So we're not increasing them. We're level funding them.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. We need to go with the level funding.
It's level funded, I agree.
What it reflects to off the sheet that everybody has is the FY 2020 approved funding. Is that what
Right.
you're
That's
Councilor?
what I'm looking at.
It's level funded.
Okay. Councilor Flynn.
I think Councilor Santos had her hand up first, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you for helping me out. Go ahead, Councilor Flynn.
In
Make
the
your comment.
2020, for the organizations, it was 126,426. For the 2021, and I can understand where Rick is coming from, it was approved for 126,426, the same amount in the 2020 budget.
Right.
And the same thing with the other, with the recreations. They had one figure for the 2020 and approved for 2021 was the same as 2021. This is confusing. If it's been approved, it's been approved. The extra money was not approved.
That's correct.
But what they're talking about is his, Council Lombardi's motion is to approve the level funding, the reality, the lower amount. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's correct. I want to level fund them.
I
The
see.
amount that's been approved.
Go ahead. Council Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. President. So on September 21st at our last meeting, we looked individually at 6 organizations and we increased the
Yes.
appropriation for 4 of them. We decreased for 1 of them. You know, I'm not comfortable with not treating all of the applicants the same.
Okay, point well taken. Okay, we have a motion and it's been seconded to level fund. Is that, and correct me if I mistake this, Council Lombardi, okay? To blanket fund the 2020 approved allocation request
Correct. Level fund.
from where we left off on.
Correct.
The ones that we did prior to that we leave them alone. Is that a fair assessment of what you want?
That's fair.
Any further conversation? Not repeat conversation. Councilor Toronto.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, Terry, I can see your way as well. We did start off, you know, going through each line item, and we actually talked about that in the budget meeting, that we wanted to go through each one on a line item basis, and that's why we approved it as one lump sum to come back to this, to what we're doing now. But we saw it did take a lot of time. I am sensitive too that, you know, Corona has had an effect on every one of these organizations. And I would think every one of them would probably want more assistance if we could give more assistance. So I think they're kind of asking for the minimal right now, probably, you know, if they get up and speak with us. And as I look down them, I think they look reasonable. If we're funding back to what we had given them in 2020, which if you look at the numbers, general fund appropriation was 124,926, and then the actual park and recreation was 218,176. But it's a little confusing because this document does say it's approved is higher. Okay, so we'll just let Sean work those details out. But I am going to support Rick's idea. And if anyone out there needs more, is in a situation where they do need more help, and they can come to the council and petition, or come to its counselor and say, hey, I'd like to approach the council and ask for some additional funding. And I'm sure we will receive it and do the right thing. So I think in the essence of time, I think this is probably a good way to move forward.
Thank you, Councilor Toronto. Any further conversation? Councilor Von Villas.
Yes, I'm just looking at the list, okay? And I understand what we're talking about when we're talking about saving time and maintaining a certain level of funding. I am concerned about the fact that there is a fairness issue here. I'm looking at the numbers of organizations that we have not yet looked at, and did a very quick count. I could have made a mistake, but I have like 29. And I'm looking at the ones that are asking for increases. And I see 9 of them. So 9 of 29 people, or 9 of 29 organizations. It seems to me that out of fairness, we should at least give them the opportunity to make their case.
I can agree with that.
Councilor Flynn.
Yeah, I think very good strategies to move this on. Thank you, Councilor Toronto. That was a great idea for, you know, folks to come back because of COVID, and they really have higher needs. But I am concerned with the cycle. So we get requested for money, and especially down in Park and Recs, they request in May typically for expenditures. for the current summer. It's those summertime activities that if they were for summer of 2020, that's passed, and they'll come back in May, I believe, to request for next summer. And should those be, scrutinized and taken off the list because they were specifically summertime activities?
Okay. We have a
That's
motion.
a Sean question, I guess.
The Sean question.
I think you have to reframe it. I'm just having trouble following this. So you're asking about the cycle for the parks and recreation people?
For those that are very quite specifically asking for monies for summer activities, if they were summer of 2020, that's passed, they probably didn't have those activities. Again, without talking to them individually, I would not know. And some of these, they might not say summer in the quick project description that's on the cover page, but it could be buried in the application itself. So for instance, again, transportation and programming expenses for Middletown youth. Well, was that a summer program or is that year round? Again, I don't think that we were prepared not to look at each one to do the appropriate thing, given
I
COVID.
don't want to
So
interrupt,
I just want to address,
excuse me, Mrs.
President, I'm sorry.
Wait. I don't want to interrupt you. I do not want to repeat the same stuff over and over again. Let's start by voting on the motion. If the motion fails, then we'll continue this conversation. That's simple. We're chasing our tail here again tonight, and I'm not going to allow it tonight. Enough's enough. We have a motion that was given by, that Councilor Lombardi put out. Do you want to recite that motion again that was seconded?
Motion is to fund the civic appropriations for the general fund and for the Parks and Recreation Fund, level funded for the approved 2020 budget. What is the line that says 2020 budget, level fund them?
And that motion was seconded, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. I'm going to poll the council. Vice President, how do you vote?
No.
Councilor Flynn?
It's irresponsible to fund something
Yes-
for.
yes or
something
no,
that-
Councilor Flynn?
No.
Councilor Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilor Santos?
Aye.
Councilor Toronto?
No.
Councilor Von Villas?
No,
Okay. And I vote in the negative as well. So we'll go back, we'll start over again, and we'll go line item by line item, okay? All right. So the next one that we're gonna take up, Vice President, is the civic appropriation at Eastern Rhode Island.
Okay, motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to Eastern Rhode Island Conservation District in the amount of $1,000.
Second.
Have a second. Any conversation? Hearing none. Vice President
Aye.
Flynn, Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas,
aye,
and I vote in the affirmative.
Okay, motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to the James L. Maha Center in the amount of $5,000.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Any conversation? Council Flynn.
Just wanted to point out, again, devil's in the details. In their application, they've got quite a bit of funding. I don't know if somebody's here from that organization for classes that probably aren't or didn't happen. A 960 for Drums Alive classes, 1,300 for Zumba Gold dance fitness classes, 1,400 for art workshops and classes. So I'm not sure if somebody's here from that organization and wants to speak to, the application versus what's going on with them now.
There is nobody online that I'm aware of.
So the flat funding would be 3,000. They requested 5, but the flat funding and what was approved during the budget season would be 3,000.
Correct.
Okay. And the motion is for how much?
5,000.
The 5,000.
I just wanted to make everyone aware of that.
We're all reading off the same documents, Councilor Flynn. Vice President, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
You're
You're
muted.
muted.
Aye.
Councilor Santos,
Aye.
Councilor Toronto,
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. Okay, next one.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to Lucy's Hearth in the amount of $10,000.
Second.
Okay, any conversation? Anybody from St. Lucy's Hearth here online? Anybody coming online to comment? Again, 3 minutes you're gonna have. Okay, there's nobody online. I have nobody. Okay, we have a motion that's been seconded. Vice President, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
Aye.
Councilor Santos,
Aye.
Toronto,
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas,
Aye.
I vote in the affirmative. Yes, thank you.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to Meals on Wheels of Rhode Island Incorporated in the amount of $1,500.
Second.
And motion is second. Anybody from Meal on Wheels? Seeing none.
Aye.
Megan Grady, Executive Director.
All right, Megan, you got 3 minutes. Thank you.
Great. I won't take much of your time. I just want to say thank you for your continued support.
Okay, thank you, Megan.
Thank you, Megan.
Okay, we have a motion that's been seconded. Poll the council.
Aye.
Vice President, Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
Aye.
Councilor Santos,
Aye.
Councilor Toronto,
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas.
Aye.
I as well vote in the affirmative. Thank you.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to the Middletown Education Collaborative in the amount of $2,500.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have anybody here from Middletown Education Collaborative? I see none. Nobody's telling me there's anybody here. Okay, we have motion and second. Any conversation? Hearing none. Vice President,
Aye.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
Aye.
Councilor Santos,
Aye.
Councilor Toronto,
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas.
Aye.
I vote in the affirmative as well. Thank you.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to the Middletown Historical Society in the amount of $6,500.
Mr. President, I need to recuse myself.
Thank you, Councilor Santos. Madam Clerk, please note. Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any conversation? Hearing none. Vice President,
Aye.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
Aye.
Councilor Santos is recused. Councilor Toronto,
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas.
Aye.
I vote in the affirmative as well. Thank you.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to the Middletown Tree Association in the amount of $7,500.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have anybody here from the Middletown Tree Association? Okay. I'm going to poll the council. Any conversation? I'm going to poll the council.
Aye.
Vice President, aye. Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
Aye.
Councilor Santos,
Aye.
Councilor Toronto,
Aye.
Councilor Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. Thank you.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to the Newport County Mental Health in the amount of $29,255.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Anybody from Newport County Mental Health with us tonight?
Good evening, Nate Levin Asmussen, Newport Mental Health. My address is at 119 11th Street in Providence.
Good evening, Nate. You got 3 minutes. Spell yourself.
Residents, I'll be quick to save the council as much time as I can. We've been level funded for over 7 years. We certainly wouldn't be making an additional request in such a dire year if we weren't delivering additional services to the town of Middletown. As I'm sure you can imagine, the COVID pandemic has had cascading effects on the mental health of Middletown residents as well as the rest of Newport County. We're seeing increases in psychiatric care, ER visits, as well as inpatient care. And in addition to the effects of the pandemic, we're also increasing our services considerably in the following fiscal year. We have bumped up the number of emergency crisis clinicians that we are staffing. These are mental health professionals who work with local law enforcement to deal with and de-escalate and divert mental health crises away from expensive alternatives such as jail and the emergency room. And we are also opening in Middletown a Healthy Transitions Young Adult Center for youth ages 16 to 25 who are dealing with their first serious mental health crisis. This is going to be at 42 Valley, co-located with Tides Family Center. And we expect to open that later in 2020. I can answer any additional questions council might have at this time.
Thank you, Nate. Any councilors have any questions?
Good job. A minute and a half, Nate.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have a motion. It's been seconded. And poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
You're muted.
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative as well. Okay, thank you, Nate.
Thank you, Council.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to the Norman Bird Sanctuary in the amount of $7,500.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Anybody here from Norman Bird Sanctuary?
Town Council President Sylvia, Katie Ryan, Executive Director of the Norman Bird Sanctuary.
How are you, Katie?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
3 minutes.
Great. We are deeply grateful for the support that the town of Middletown has given the Norman Bird Sanctuary over the past 12 years. Particularly this year, I know it's been a challenging year for all of us. This year's request represents a nominal increase of $500, and that really is to just cover cleaning protocols and some additional help that we need to cover our costs as we continue to deliver programming to the town of Middletown as well as the surrounding communities. Happy to answer any questions related to that. And again, I'm very grateful for the town's support.
Katie, thank you. I do have a question for you because we understand the impact of COVID. Certainly, the COVID impact has been more on some charitable agencies than it has on others, okay? Quite frankly, could you survive without the additional $500 increase?
Yes, we could.
Okay. All right. I appreciate your honesty and I appreciate you a little because we are trying to move some money to people that have stepped up, especially the demand on them has been additional during the COVID crisis. So thank you for your honesty, Katie. Any counselor have any questions? Okay, hearing none. Vice President.
So I would amend that motion to $7,000.
Second. And thank you, Katie.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Katie.
Vice President.
I approve and I love the movie idea.
Thank you.
Council Flynn.
Yes.
Council Lombardi.
Aye.
Council Santos.
Aye.
Council Toronto.
Aye.
Council Von Villas.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative as well. Again, thank you, Katie.
Thank you very much.
That movie.
Thank you, dear.
Katie. Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to the Healing Co-op in the amount of $7,000.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have anybody here from the Healing Co-op?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Linda? Bailey?
Yep.
Go right ahead, Linda. 3 minutes. How are you this evening?
I'm very well. How are you? Thank you. I really just want to, like everybody else, express our gratitude. This is a particularly trying time. As you know, we're not a hospital affiliated nonprofit, and we work significantly with the metastatic cancer community. So we've been having to set up computers in people's homes for support groups and do things that we never thought we'd have to do in this lifetime, which has just increased our expenses. We're not asking for more money. In fact, I think we asked for $7,000, not $7,500. So if you feel like you need to place that $500 someplace else, understandable.
Yeah, the motion was for 7,000, Linda.
Yes. Okay, good. All right.
We appreciate that. We appreciate that because it is a decrease of $500. And yes, I certainly know that you understand.
Yeah, well, we're blessed with some really good volunteers, so
Great.
That's been helpful. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, any further conversation? We have a motion that's been seconded. Poll the council. Vice President.
I approve, and Linda, thank you for your patience from the previous meeting.
I almost fell asleep.
I know you did. I was watching you.
Linda, by the way, you watch it
It was
now.
a long day.
I'm just kidding. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas, and I approve. Okay,
A motion authorizing FY21 civic appropriation of the Samaritans in the amount of $500.
Second.
a motion is second. Anybody here from the Samaritans? Okay. And poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative as well. Thank you.
Motion authorizing FY21 civic appropriation to visiting nurse home and hospice in the amount of $19,201.
Second.
And a motion is second. Anybody here from visiting nurses? Okay. Seeing none. Any conversation by the council? Okay. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative as well. Thank you.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to the Women's Resource Center in the amount of $5,000.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Anybody here from Women's Resource Center? Okay, hearing none. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas.
Aye.
I vote in the affirmative. Thank you.
Okay. Second discussion, civic appropriations, Parks and Rec Fund. Motion to, on the first one, motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to the Boys and Girls Club of Newport County in the amount of $20,000.
Second.
Okay, a motion. Second. Is anybody here from the Boys and Girls Club?
Yes.
Yes, yes, members of the council, Joe Pratt, the executive director of the Newport Boys and Girls Club.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm good.
3 minutes. Give us your speech.
You got it. The first, members of the council, want to say thank you for your support over the years. It's been a great partnership. COVID, like so many others, has hit us hard, hit our families incredibly hard. Our families that are most vulnerable are facing the unemployment, underemployment, more kids at home, more meals to serve, homeschooling, all those things. We've adapted consistently from when the schools and childcares were first shut down. I sent in a short kind of 1 or 2 page update, tried to listen in at the last council meeting to some of the questions you asked, talked about the change in delivery of services. We did meals, we did care packages, hygiene products, virtual programming. We're currently doing full-time childcare plus after-school childcare. There's always a group of kids that are not in the schools, so they need our help more than ever now. We started some new programs with the town of Middletown and Middletown schools over the last couple of years. We're doing an awful lot of work with the Anchor Academy. We've had the last 2 freshman classes over to the summer camp. Soccer programming continues, really strong program. We've had more than 500 youth from Middletown participate in our programs. We started a brand new wrestling program with partners in Middletown. We're doing college and career centers. So we're doing more with less. We anticipate COVID will lead to losses of about $300,000 from our prior budget. So we've had to pull that back. And we anticipate 2021 is going to be even more difficult.
Joe, I appreciate your commitment, obviously, to the community, the Boys and Girls Club of Newport County. Joe, understanding that we're kind of been leaning towards giving more money increases to the first line, not just responders, but to the people that are out there first line, not that you're not on the first line with the programs that you run. but could you do with 15,000 instead of the increase to 20,000?
We'll survive. You know, we're in a hole currently, so we're really going to have to work to make it up in other places. You know, I understand all the first line kind of comments and thoughts. I don't think there's anything more first line than helping families with childcare and academic support and healthy living.
Agree with
But
that.
of course we can. Yeah.
But Joe, I look at it and I applaud you for the job that you do. And I know, and I hope you know in your heart that if you needed something down the street, that you could come back to us again. But I'm a little reluctant right now because we're trying to give extra money to some of the agencies that we gave it to that have been stretched to their limits, to their financial limits. And I'm saying people like the American Red Cross and people like that in our area that have the call on and the demand on them has been over the top. So I appreciate that. I mean, I would support the past funding request of 15,000. That's just myself. And I'll just field it out to the rest of the councilors. Councilor Flynn.
And I would like to thank the Boys and Girls Club for sending us that write-up, you know, that really, you know, you've analyzed your numbers, you've looked at it. I personally think that you probably need that extra 5, but maybe we can split the difference to 2,500 if the rest of the council would entertain something along those lines. I think they're in the hole and they're going to be deeper next year based on what I read.
And again, I read the same comments. And I think Joe knows me and knows us well enough to know if he can come back to us again if necessary. But I think right now, the additional funding that we gave to other people, I think this is to level fund them. I think it's the right course of action right now. So I would support the 15,000. Okay, any other comments? Okay. We have a motion that's out there right now. It's been seconded to authorize FY21 civic support to Boys and Girls Club in the amount of $20,000. That motion could be amended, or we can vote on that motion and then perhaps make another motion.
Let's amend it and get it over with.
Amend it.
Okay.
Okay, I motion to amend the, to authorize, to amend the FY21 civic appropriation of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Newport County in the amount of $17,500.
Second.
Here we have a second. Okay. We have a motion and a second to amend it to 17,500. Okay. Vice President, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
Reluctantly, aye.
Councilor Santos,
Aye.
Councilor Toronto.
I just want to say that I think that's great that we're splitting it. And I, again, want to tell people that if you need something, you can approach the council in future days, okay? So it's definitely an aye.
Councilor Von Villas.
Aye.
I'll vote in the affirmative as well. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Good luck, Joe.
Thank you.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to Butler Basketball Club in the amount of $10,000.
Second.
Yeah, motion second. Conversation? Do we have,
Randy's on.
you here with us this evening, Randy?
Yes, how you doing?
Very
Randy Butler. Excuse me, Randy Butler, Butler Basketball Club president. I'd just like to say we had a down summer this year with the COVID, everything going on. But at the same time, I got to do some small clinics under the governor's restrictions and everything, which was pretty huge to the kids that I could do it to. There's a lot of kids that are still trying to do it and are still trying to do it. But our summer league, actually, we bring in at least 300 kids. So it was a big difference from our previous year to this summer, with the fees going towards the referees, shirts, renting the courts. And then next year, actually, it's gonna be a little bit tougher for us because we usually have two fundraisers, one which is a talent show, which is in a building, and then we were gonna have a golf club when COVID started, a golf club fundraiser, but we're not gonna be able to have either one. So the money would definitely help, but
Okay, any councilors have any comments?
Mr. President.
Council Lombardi?
So Randy, question, you know, you've gotten 10,000 and this year you came back to us and you asked us for some funds to help with the backpack program. You know, do you normally expend the entire 10,000?
yes, easily. We actually, it probably cost us more, to tell you the truth.
And as a general comment to my fellow councilors, one of the things that really troubles me is that, you know, Randy's program has had to expand over to Potsy Field, to the basketball courts there, because the courts up at the school, up at Gaudet, can't accommodate, or haven't been able to accommodate the number of kids that he's attracted. A lot of these kids are underserved kids, and if they didn't have, you know, Randy's program, they wouldn't be doing anything in many cases. But the thing that troubles me more than anything is I know that those courts up at Gaudet belong to the school department, but that's still town property. And the fact that they're charging him rent for those courts troubles me. It's an expense that he wouldn't have to worry about. I know we're not charging him for the use of Potsy, but I think somewhere down the line, and again, it's going to be for the next council maybe, or for somebody who's the school department liaison down the road, to reach out to the school department and make it clear to them what Butler basketball does for our kids. They're also students in our schools. And the fact that we're charging him for those courts is, and plain and simple, is a disgrace. Those courts belong to the town of Middletown. As Paul likes to say, they're taxpayer dollars. And we should be supporting organizations like Butler Basketball and the Boys and Girls Club in Newport County and all these groups that serve our kids, no matter what they do. So that's where I'm at with this. And I'm going to support Randy and I'm going to support his group. And I think those are dollars well spent. I wish you all could have seen those kids coming up to pick up those backpacks before school. It was quite the sight to see. But anyway, that's where I'm at with this. I'm going to recommend we fully fund them.
Okay, thank you. Council Floyd?
Hi, Randy. Thanks.
Hello, how you doing?
Good, thanks. Thanks for all that you do. And this is one of those line items that jumped out at me because the application is particularly for the summer league. And so I guess the question is, how did that work with this particular summer? You know, did you have a league, a portion of a league?
No, we couldn't have a league because of the limitations of the kids. So what we were allowed to have was clinics, which we would have 15. That includes the coach.
Okay.
So I could have at least, if it was just me on one court, I can have 14 kids. And on the other court, I can have another coach with 14 kids, but we couldn't go above that at all. So we were teaching them skills and basic stuff about basketball instead of letting them play full court, man-to-man in a league.
And how does that compare with the numbers that you normally have in a summer? You know, was it half as many kids? Was it?
It's great. It's probably 30% of the kids, maybe. Because I have in our summer league, we had just about 300 kids.
Typically.
Yes.
Yeah, typically. So I guess, and again, in deference to the first responders, you know, totally support what you're doing. But with the application for the summer program, you know, could you get, you know, would it be a problem to get 5,000 of the 10,000 requested because you simply didn't have the number of kids? You had about 30%, and still keep your operation going, I guess is the question.
All right, my question to you, you mean for next summer?
Well, see, I think this is for this summer. This is where Mr. Brown came in. This was the cycle I was trying to determine. When the summer programs are on, this worksheet, are they summer of 2020 or summer of 2021?
My last request has been for 2020.
So that would have been for this last summer that
Yes.
was,
Yes,
okay, reduced.
yes.
Okay, so that's my question, you know, because this summer was reduced, would 5,000 work for you for this summer and cover what you needed to cover? It's 50%, not 30%.
Yes, if we had to, yes, we could. There's no problem because we really didn't have as many kids. I can understand that. I totally understand that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, like the president said, you know, we've got Red Cross and Martin Luther King, East Bay community that, you know, frontline and are really taking a hit also. So I appreciate your willingness. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other council want to make a comment?
Quick question for Randy.
Yes.
What do you pay for rent for the Gaudet courts? You know?
They are charging me $10 per court there's 2 courts on there, so I get charged $20 per hour, but we're there about 3 to 4 hours per night.
They're charging you per hour. Beautiful. All right.
Good point. We'll address that.
Oh, I hope so.
Okay, Mr. Vice President, you want to amend that?
I'm gonna amend that motion. I'd like to amend the motion to authorize an FY 2021 civic appropriation of Butler Basketball Club in the amount of $7,500.
Second,
Okay, I have a motion and a second to amend. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von
Aye.
I vote in the affirmative. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Thanks for all you do, Randy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Motion to authorize an FY 21 civic appropriation of the Clean Ocean Access in the amount of $7,500.
Second,
The motion is second. Dave, I know Dave was here. Dave, are you with us?
He is.
Hi, Dave. Would you
So I
like
am here.
to make a comment?
Sure. Good evening. I just want to say thank you again for taking the time to consider this application. We appreciate the support in the years past. And we've certainly found that with the COVID situation that more people are trying to take it outside and enjoy the environment. And we're very grateful for your support for our year-round environmental efforts. Happy to address any questions. Thank you.
And thank you for the job that you do, Dave.
Thank you.
Okay, any council have any questions? Vice President.
Dave, how much of that money goes towards uniforms for Woodsy? Just kidding.
How'd you know we were trying to fundraiser?
Any council have any comments?
I do.
Toronto.
Thanks for that lead in, Paul. Yeah, I just want to say that, you know, I've worked with Dave's organization and top notch. He's got our best interest in mind to give us a clean living environment and has supported our litter program in Middletown. And so I'm looking to fully fund him. I think, you know, he's frugal with his money. I've seen his operations. It's efficient. He keeps a good environment and he puts a lot of time and energy in. So he does a lot for our community and for our drinking water. So I fully support him.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, we have a motion that's been seconded. Vice President, how do you vote?
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas.
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Thanks, Dave.
Good
Thank you
luck,
very
Dave.
much.
Thank you. Motion to authorize FY 21 civic appropriation of the East Bay Community Action Program in the amount of $10,000.
Second,
Okay, a motion is second. Anybody here from East Bay Action Community Program? Christine, name and address, Christine.
Yes, thank you so much. My name is Christina Ruth. I'm the director of the Newport Family and Child Opportunity Zone and the Middletown Child Opportunity Zone, which is a program of East Bay Community Action Program. I live at 154 Edmond Drive in North Kingstown.
Okay, Christine, Kind of a frank question.
Sure.
You're asking for an increase, correct?
Correct.
From 7,000 to 10,000, and I know you've listened to what we've our discussions with some of the other charitable requests, and how, you know, we've been kind of giving extra to those charitable organizations that had the immediate and demand and have been really stretched to the limit. Could you survive without that if we gave you your original amount of money?
We certainly could survive. We have been working over the last several years as we've been working with the Middletown Public Schools in partnership with the school department to implement and expand on our out-of-school time services to support kids and families. You know, now more than ever, I think because of COVID and the delays in students' education, these services are so important to get kids back on track. And, you know, some of our goals are really to try and reach those kids that have a difficulty with access to these services. The program, as I had an opportunity to explain a little bit at the last time I came before this council, we have the Beyond the Bell program that we've been working in collaboration with the district to expand and have sort of several tiers of services with intervention and enrichment kinds of programs to support students.
No, we certainly appreciate, we certainly acknowledge, and we certainly know what you do. And
Thank you.
do an outstanding job, and you're to be commended for it. However, like we brought up before, that the financial demands that have been on some other agencies has been astronomical. And we're trying to help them out a little bit. And so my suggestion would be to fund you the $7,000 instead of the increase to $10,000. That's just my suggestion. Councilor Toronto.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I was very impressed with your presentation and what you folks have been doing over the last several years. I know you've been working with Newport longer than Middletown, but you've really, over the last few years from your presentation, I've seen that you're reaching out to Middletown more and more and some of the programs. And I've been very excited about Beyond the Bell. I know my council members have heard me say this in regards to working with Lieutenant Governor and looking at the program they did in Cumberland. And it was actually a department that was formed outside of, as part of the community. I was actually trying to get that passed through, but because of this virus, that kind of got side-tabled. But also the school was picking up the pace with Beyond the Bell, which was my concern of making sure the kids stay up to speed. They're learning English when they, and how to put their days together with this virus and this distance learning. So I appreciate all your help with that. And so I'd like to support the $10,000. So I understand. I think you are first line because you're taking care of our children. And right now we're doing everything. We're investing a lot of money in our children right now to make sure they're safe and making sure they have the tools that they need to be successful. And so I do deem you, frontline. So I appreciate it. Bob, I understand we're looking for areas to cut, but I'm not in agreement with this area.
Okay, my logic behind this is a $3,000 increase. This is a $3,000 increase over last year. We went from $7,000 to $10,000. And not that I don't think they're worthy of it, but I think there's others that have been stretched to the max over this. Christine, 3 minutes.
I'm sorry, if I could just make one more comment, and certainly we would appreciate any amount of funding that the council was able to give to us, and we would use every bit of it, to maximum. I do want to just make one comment in that we are anticipating the possibility that we could be getting a cut in our state funding, our Child Opportunity Zone funding. I know that there's been discussion on the state level that budgets might be cut 15%, which would be a loss of support for this program, both in the Newport and the Middletown sites. So we are looking, we're looking at facing that very real possibility. But again, we appreciate any amount of support that you can provide us, and we will use it to its fullest. So thank you for your consideration.
Christine, like anybody else, you can always come back to us if something happens, and hopefully we'll get through this COVID at a quicker rate than we tend to be going through it right now.
Thank you very much.
Councilor Lombardi.
Yeah, I'm going to lean with Councilor Toronto. they've been partnering with the Middletown School Department, at least beginning of my first term on the council, when we fought to get them some money to get some transportation long before anybody knew of anything about Beyond the Bell. And they got kicked out of Oxbow, where they were providing services to the kids after school over there. And we had to find space for them at the middle school. And some of us advocated for that and pushed the school department to get them some really nice space, by the way. But they needed funding for transportation for these kids who didn't have after-school transportation when they were with this after-school program. And I'm sorry, but this is one where I'm not going to support a cut.
Okay. Well, your point's well taken, but just let's understand something, okay? Is that as hard as it hurts, some decisions that we make sometimes, we have to make realistic decisions which are in the best interest of every resident in town and every family in town. And I think we make those pretty consistently. And again, this agency is asking for a $3,000 increase, going from $7,000 to $10,000. And, you know, I see it as an important entity. I see it doing a great service to the community, but these are after school things. Councilor Toronto, his efforts with the after school activities, with the in line with what the Lieutenant Governor did up in Cumberland when the Lieutenant Governor was the mayor there over the years, is commendable. But are these the times that the demand isn't there, in my opinion, right now today. We don't know where we're going to be in 6 months from now. Councilor Von Villiers, you want to make a comment?
I just suggest we do what we did with some of the others. We split the difference.
Okay. Anybody else? Councilor Toronto?
That was, Bob, before Corona, I was going to ask for 60,000 for the program, to get it going. So
I'm going to give you 100,000.
I think, and I don't know how long we've been giving them 7,000 for. So I thank you, Mrs. Von Villiers. I think that's a good idea, and I would agree with it.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation, the East Street Community Action Program, in the amount of $8,500.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further conversation? Vice President?
Aye.
Councilor Flynn?
Aye, yes.
Councilor Marty?
Aye.
Councilor Santos? You're muted, Councilor.
Aye.
Councilor Toronto?
Aye.
Councilor Von Villiers? I vote in the affirmative as well. Thank you. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
Motion to authorize FY21 civic appropriation, looking upwards, in the amount of $4,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Anybody from Looking Upwards here with us this evening? I see none. Councilor Flynn, you want to make a comment?
Well, their application is quite specifically for summer day camp. I have to assume it's for 2020. So I assume, I mean, I don't know what to assume, if they had it or partial, like Butler basketball. It's hard to know, but I think that without knowing, I don't think they need the full amount.
Personally, I would concur with that as well. I mean, I think, honestly, it's past the period. I say we, maybe give them, $2,000 to maybe help them with the program starting off next year, and then just recall what we gave them this year so we can look at it again next year. But I think we have to be fair with everybody, and we have to make hard cuts. We do have to make hard cuts. So I would support reducing this down to $2,000.
Okay, motion to amend the motion to authorize FY21 civic appropriation to look upwards in the amount of $2,000.
Second.
Motion second. Poll the council. Vice President.
Aye.
Councilor Flynn.
Yes.
Councilor Marty.
Aye.
Councilor Santos.
Aye.
Councilor Toronto.
Aye.
Councilor Von Villiers.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative as well. Thank you.
Motion to authorize FY21 civic appropriation to Middletown Babe Ruth in the amount of $4,000.
Second.
Motion second. Conversation. Anybody here from Babe Ruth?
Mike Condrey should be on the line.
I have no indications with anybody.
I see him,
There
I
is-
see him
there
on the
is-
line.
There is somebody on the line.
Is there anyone here from Babe Ruth?
They have to unmute.
See, I can't see every screen.
You have to hit *9.
Okay, we're gonna move along.
Mr. President, if the council has questions about it, I've been affiliated with Babe Ruth as a coach. I know what the
Okay, why
program
don't
was this past year.
An update. Thank you.
So the spring season, like all baseball, was canceled. However, Babe Ruth was able to run 2 summer leagues this summer, one for kids 13 to 15, which gave an opportunity for the older kids from Little League who missed their last Little League season to. All right, Jay, mic's on.
Yes, I'm sorry. I kept pushing *9. I apologize for the delay.
Okay, name and address, please.
Michael Condrey, 1 Bailey Terrace, Middletown, Rhode Island.
Hi, Mike. Okay, 3 minutes.
I got-
Tell us why we should support Middletown Babe Ruth.
Well, first of all, I'm happy to have the opportunity to speak to you people. You've always been very good to us. This summer with the COVID-19, we got an opportunity to actually have a summer league. We put together, by following all Governor Raimondo's suggestions, we went out and bought folding chairs, made our own dugouts all the way down both lines, 8 feet apart by the kids. So each kid would come in, sit down in a seat, and that would be his assignment for the day. We had baseballs that were kept per team, so they weren't exchanged. Foul balls were used by one team. We were able to get close to 22 players out there. We only charged $25 for registration, which paid for our baseballs and our umpires. And then we were able to do it in the 16 to 18-year-old division for the high school kids, which we don't normally have. But because they didn't get the opportunity to play baseball, we saw the opportunity. We set the guidelines as required, and we were able to give them some baseball to play. A lot of kids missed a lot of season because of the pandemic, and we were able to step forward and put something on for the kids, and it was very successful, and nobody got sick.
Very candid question. Did you use your authorized $4,000?
Oh yes, we used it. We used it for not only our division, but to pay for the senior division, to bring those kids, the 16 to 18 kids, in to get them an opportunity to play the seasons they were unable to play during the high school and the middle school. So we did use it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Any councilors? Okay, we have a Councilor Flynn.
Just wondering is it Mike, how many,
Yeah.
compared to other summer seasons, how many games did you end up playing between the 2 leagues, and how many games typically do you play?
Okay, Counselor, we never play in the summertime. We play in the spring,
Oh,
and spring was totally canceled. So we got 11 games we did it for about 6 weeks. We got 11 games in the 13 to 15-year-old division, and we were able to get about 12 games in the 16 to 18 division, which also had close to 25 kids. So we had high 40s of kids combined in both leagues that were able to play baseball this summer.
The 23 games, how many games do you normally get to play in a spring?
Maybe we play upwards to 12 or 13 regular season, and then however many we can get in the playoffs. So we usually, on an average year, we might get in 15 games in one division, but we had 2 divisions in the summertime.
Okay.
So
Great
we were
job.
able to.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, it worked out great.
Okay. We have any further conversation? Okay, we have a motion. It's been seconded. And poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas, and I vote in the affirmative as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Good
Thank
luck.
you. All right, guys, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye-bye.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to the Middletown Hockey Boosters in the amount of $10,000.
Second.
Is anybody here from the Hockey Boosters? I'm seeing none. Is anybody here from the Hockey Boosters? Any council want to make a comment?
Just a quick question, Mr. President. Are they playing?
I
Anyone
might
know?
be able to help you with that.
Okay.
They're making ice at the rink at St. George's, and the plan is to go with the guidelines that by the state of Rhode Island. So I believe that they are planning on playing. I just don't know when. It's probably pushing out to October or November, but I do know that they are making ice as of last week.
Council,
And that's, by the way, Middletown Youth Hockey uses more ice time than any other group. Newport County Youth Hockey, I should say, than any group that goes up to the school. I can tell you that they're our biggest customer.
I
When do
think
they,
the question is, are they playing hockey up there now?
The hockey season has not started, but they are making ice, and there will be hockey at St. George's. I can tell you that. I just don't know to what degree that the league is going to be, what the guidelines are. I don't know what the guidelines are going to be.
Maybe this is something we'd, consideration on this, we should table into another.
I would, until we can get some clarification.
$1,000 here for something that may not even exist.
Okay.
Councilor Lombardi, just a quick question. When do they normally start the season?
Probably the end of October, beginning of November, but I think I can get some clarification on that, and I agree, Bob. Why don't we hold off on this for a bit?
Okay. Any other further conversation? Vice President,
Motion to table the civic appropriation for the FY21 civic appropriation of the Middletown Hockey Boosters in the amount of $10,000 till the next meeting.
Second.
Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Santos,
Aye.
Toronto, Council Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to the Middletown Little League in the amount of $13,000.
Second.
Here, we have a second.
And they're done that.
Anybody here from Middletown Little League? Okay. No. Any council affiliated with Middletown Little League?
Oh.
Vice President, go ahead.
I'm not affiliated with them, but I live pretty close to them, and I know they were playing this weekend. There was a lot of activity down there. This for the first time I've seen it.
Okay.
So I know they started. I mean, I can certainly touch base with Mike Agron. I know, Dennis, you had spoken to him a little bit a while back, and I know, Sean, you guys had gotten the fields ready, so I know they're playing because I saw it this weekend.
Okay. Any council want to make any comments on this one? Council Flynn.
So is their season the fall, or do they also play in the spring, Paul?
They play in the, I've coached in the past with Sam, and they play in the spring, and they usually end, the season usually ends like late June, regular season, and then they go into the playoffs. But I'm sure all that's pushed back now because I know that in my conversation with Mike that they were going to play. So it's begun.
So so was this request for fall of 2020, or did it also include for spring of 2020?
I'm not sure of.
Why don't we table this too? Okay, and then we'll, because I'm not even sure if, I think the appropriate thing would be, the prudent thing would be tonight to table this one too.
Okay. Motion to table the FY21 civic appropriation of the Middletown Little League to the next regularly scheduled meeting of the council.
Second,
Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Aye.
Council Bills, and I vote in the affirmative. Thank you. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to us to discuss this tonight.
Okay, motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation of Middletown youth football and cheerleading in the amount of $13,000.
Second,
Do we have a second? Do we have anyone here from Middletown Youth Football with us? Okay, I'm gonna make the same suggestion to table this. I don't see any reason to talk about schedules, how many games are played. I don't see, we don't know, and we're not gonna know. And we're not gonna know the capabilities of how many people they can put on the field. So I would just suggest that we table this one as well.
Motion to table the FY21 civic appropriation of Middletown youth football and cheerleading in the amount of $13,000 to the next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi.
Aye.
aye.
Council Toronto.
Mr. President, I'd just like to make for the record is I am in support of funding these, but obviously if they're not playing the sport, then there's nothing to fund. So I say aye to continuing it.
Aye.
That is everybody's feeling.
Great.
And I also will be in support of it.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation of Middletown Youth Soccer Club in the amount of $3,000.
Second,
Okay, do we have anybody here from Middletown Youth Soccer Club? Seeing none, I'm gonna make the same suggestion. Although I will say I have seen kids out there playing soccer. Now, to what extent, to what degree, I don't know. But I would like to have had the opportunity to talk to somebody about it.
Motion to table FY21 civic appropriation of the Middletown Youth Soccer Club in the amount of $3,000.
second,
Vice President,
I think we probably all support it. It's just a matter of getting more information.
Yep.
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Aye.
Von Villas, and I also vote in the affirmative. Okay.
We're gonna do the same thing with the wrestling?
Well, do we have anybody here from Middletown Wrestling? I'd like to be able to talk to any of these people.
This is Claro Demon, Director of Middletown Youth Wrestling Club. My address is 240 Elephant Lane, Middletown.
Fantastic. Wait 1 minute, Carl. I'm going to get right back to you. Vice President, you want to read the motion?
Yes, motion to authorize FY21 civic appropriation to the Middletown Youth Wrestling Club in the amount of $8,000.
Second,
Okay, it's been seconded. Carlo, go right ahead, sir.
Thank you, Counselor. Middletown Youth Wrestling Club is an all-volunteer organization, and we've been serving boys and girls ages 5 through 18. We're continuing to follow Governor Raimondo's guidelines, so we have shut the club down for the past 6 months. However, I have been in touch with the governor's office, the DEM, the Department of Health, Rhode Island Interscholastic League, as well as Rhode Island Wrestling Association. And we will be starting practices again in January 2021. Typically, we start right after Thanksgiving, so we're skipping the month of December and the holidays, but we will be resuming practices January 2021. And the most important thing is we continue to keep kids out of trouble. We give them an activity to do during the winters when there's not a lot of choices besides the basketball and hockey programs. One of the reasons I'm seeking level funding, the $8,000 at this time, is we've grown substantially from 5 years ago. We were at just under 24 kids. Last year, we almost hit 100 athletes on the books. We actually ended up expanding to
the Newport Boys and Girls Club in order to provide 4 days of practices instead of 2. And typically we program 6 months out of the year. So fortunately, we were able to complete the 2019-2020 season just before the pandemic hit.
Mhm.
And we've been shut down since, following all the guidelines. We typically take 3 or 4 months off. We've been off for 6 months now. And the big thing is we will be reopening, and we do need the funds. And those funds, they're allocated, they cover everything from the registration fees, the insurance, the kids for shoes for the kids that can't afford them, the headgear, uniforms, transportation, the competition fees, what have you. So anything the town can do to help out is always appreciated. And one of the things that we haven't been able to do during this pandemic, we typically hold an annual wrestling alumni fundraiser, which brings a good chunk of revenue to pay for the kids. And we're not able to meet as a whole because of the social distancing guidelines. But we will be reopening for January 2021.
Okay, my quick question is this. Do you have a financial need today that we couldn't address in January if you had it and the program gets off and running? My feeling is this: we don't know where we're going to be in January. Today, you can say you're going to have the program going. We don't know that for sure. So if we held off funding you today and your program did start up in January, you could always come back to us and request the funding.
I could do that as well.
Okay, so that would be
The
my,
need is there. The need will be there.
well, I hope it is. I hope you come back to us next month and tell us you're ready and you're running. But until we get past this pandemic that we're going through without a playbook, I think it's prudent just to say, hey, wait a minute, let's hang on to it. When they need it, then we'll allocate it to them.
Fair enough.
Councilor Lombardi?
Claro, thanks for all you do. You know, our connection with Middletown Wrestling is Councilor Toronto and Mr. Brown. I got to ask you though, and then maybe I missed it when you were talking. Are you also supporting the Middletown High School wrestling program that was cut with the school department?
We typically use the town funds for the youth program. And then I support the Middletown High School program with the fundraisers, or we'll hold the tournaments and allocate those tournament funds towards that. So it's separate from the $8,000, because last year between both the youth and the high school programs, I wrote checks for over $15,000.
Okay, so the fundraisers that you've done, some of that money is going towards supporting the high school program while it's not part of your actual program, correct?
Correct. We tend to keep it 2 separate pockets, but it's the same,
Okay.
same sport.
Thanks. Do you know if the high school program is going on the same schedule, if they're going after the first of the year based on the Rhode Island Interscholastic Leagues? You know,
The last wrestling coaches meeting, the vote was to recommend to the Rhode Island Interscholastic League, as well as the Rhode Island Department of Education, to have a January start for the high school wrestling season, as well as finishing by end of February. So it would be a shortened high school wrestling season.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for all you do for the kids. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay, Mr. Vice President? You're muted, Paul.
Sorry. Chiefs 13, Patriots 10, by the way. Motion to authorize, motion to table the FY21 civic appropriation to the Middletown Youth Wrestling Club in the amount of $8,000 until requested.
Second.
Poll the council. Council Vice President.
Aye.
Council Flynn.
Yes.
Council Lombardi.
Yes.
Mrs. Santos.
Yes,
Council Toronto.
Yep.
Council Von
Yes.
I vote in the affirmative as well. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Diamond.
Thank you, Claro. Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to the Narragansett Council Boy Scouts in the amount of $1,000.
second,
Motion is second. Anybody here from the Boy Scouts? Okay, they're asking for a $250 increase over last year. Any conversation? Council Flynn.
So I would just input as a scouting family that scouting is alive and well. They were doing Zoom meetings in the heat of COVID and then followed socially distanced guidelines for the outside activities, which are going forward, just so you know.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have a motion second. Allocate the amount of $1,000 and poll the council. Vice President.
Aye.
Council Flynn.
Yes.
Council Lombardi.
Aye.
aye,
Council Toronto.
Aye.
Aye.
Council Bowles. And I vote in the affirmative as well. Thank you.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to the Rhode Island District 2 Challenger Division in the amount of $2,000.
second,
And motion is second. We have anybody here from the District 2 Challenger Division?
Mr. President,
Council Lombardi.
so this is a great organization that serves kids who play baseball, that challenged kids. I know that Chris and Denise Patsos, local Middletown, is organized and get this group up and running and do wonderful thing for these kids. If they're not on board here, I don't know what the pleasure of the council is right now. I'd like to support them up front. But if we want to table this like we've done to a few others till we can hear from Chris, I would also support that.
Okay. Council Flynn.
I think it's important simply to hear if they played. I mean, if they didn't, then obviously that's the answer. But if they did, no problem supporting. I just think we need to know.
Let's table it.
Okay.
Motion to table the FY21 civic appropriation to the Rhode Island District 2 Challenger Division in the amount of $2,000 for the next council meeting.
Okay. All the council. Vice President.
Aye.
Council Flynn.
Yes.
Council Lombardi.
Aye.
Council-
aye,
Council Toronto.
Aye.
Council
Aye.
Bowles. And I vote in the affirmative. Thank you.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to Sale Newport in the amount of $5,000.
second,
And motion is second. Anybody here from Sale Newport?
Mr. President,
Council Lombardi.
I'm going to ask the same request. Sale Newport obviously does a lot of good stuff with our youth, but there's also a sailing program through the high school sailing team that is fully supported by Sale Newport. It's, I mean, the school department doesn't even recognize they have a sailing team, for crying out loud.
Right.
But I'm thinking that maybe we should wait to hear from Brad Reed on this also. I think they would absolutely love to get these kids out on the water in the spring if they can.
Okay.
Okay.
I think the suggestion would be to table it until maybe after the first of the year.
Whatever works.
Motion to table, sorry. FY21 civic appropriation to Sale Newport in the amount of $5,000 until we know that they're going to play. They're going to sail.
second,
All the council, Vice President.
Aye.
Council Flynn.
Yes.
Council Lombardi.
Aye.
Council Stanton.
aye,
Council Toronto.
Aye.
Aye.
Council Bowles. And I vote in the affirmative. Thank you.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to the Star Kids Scholarship Program in the amount of $2,000.
second,
Do we have anybody from the Star Kids Scholarship Program with us? Okay, I think this is a worthy cause. They're all worthy cause. Every cause we had tonight in front of us is a worthy cause. But $2,000 is something that we certainly have to muster up and support. My feeling. Okay, who's on from Star Kids?
Anybody on, Karen? No, no one's raising their hand, Bob.
Okay, all right. So we have a motion. It's been seconded to allocate $2,000. Any further conversation? Hearing none. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto.
Aye.
Council
Aye.
Gonzalez, and I vote in the affirmative. Thank you.
Motion to authorize an FY21 civic appropriation to the wildlife rehabilitators in the amount of $2,700.
Second.
Okay, do we have anybody here from the Wildlife Association?
No, nobody's hands are raised.
Okay. This is a new appropriation, isn't it?
Yes.
We didn't fund this at all last year.
No.
In fact, I think this should be something that's tabled upon an additional request from them that we'll look at a later time. Council Flynn.
Mr. President, in their application, they have included some statistics as, a new applicant that they received and provided care to approximately 3,489 wild animals from residents in Rhode Island, including 63 animals received from 49 Middletown residents. So I think that they are worthy of some appropriation because they're obviously being called on to assist our residents with wild animals.
I'm not saying they're not worthy, but I think it'd be nice to hear from them and hear exactly what they do. I mean, I'm a little reluctant, especially the first time somebody is asking for something that they're not here with us, and maybe we'll see if they can get back to us with their formal request, so we can hear from them directly. So that would be, I would ask to table this until we hear from them again.
Motion to table the FY21 civic appropriation to the wildlife rehabilitators in the amount of $2,700 until we hear from them.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and again, it's a great cause. They're helping wildlife. They're helping the animals that certainly don't have anybody taking care of them. But I think it's appropriate that we listen to somebody too, and we're spending money. So, hold the council. Vice President.
Aye.
Council Flynn.
Yes.
Council Lombardi.
Aye.
Santos.
Aye.
Council Toronto.
Aye.
Aye.
I vote in the affirmative. Okay. Item number 23, communication of the county manager quarterly tax collectors report as of 6/30/2020, town of Middletown.
Motion to receive said communication and report.
Second.
The motion is second to receive. Hold the council. Vice President.
Aye.
Council Flynn.
Yes.
Council Lombardi.
Aye.
Council Santos.
Aye.
Council Toronto.
Aye.
Council Bonvellis.
Aye.
And I do. Mr. Brown? You want to go right into the,
Yes, the finance director is on to review the results from the report.
okay,
Mark?
Mr. Tangway, go right ahead.
How do you turn this off to go to the bathroom?
Hello, Mr. President, members of the council. I do have a slide prepared.
Go right ahead.
If IT could put the slide up. There we go. Next slide.
the tax collections for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2020 was strong given the COVID environment. The collection rate was 97.76% compared to 98.42% in the prior year. So it was very good. It was within 1% difference. Balances to be carried over to the next year are delinquent, and that's $1.2 million, which comprises of mostly the real estate and sewer fees. It was a 42% increase over the prior year carryover, which equates to about $360,000. Motor vehicle delinquency carryover decreased due to the improved registration blocks that the town puts on people registering their vehicles, and also the state motor vehicle phase-out program helps change the way we collect the motor vehicles. The bill adjustment on that worksheet did increase, and that's mainly due to refunds to mortgage escrow companies that overpaid their taxes on accounts. And the interest decreased, and that's attributable to the timing payments, pretty much due to the postponement of the tax sale, which is usually in June, and we had to postpone it due to COVID. And that is your report for June. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions by any councilors? IT, you can take that slide down. Thank you. Okay, hearing none. Item number 24. Memorandum of Finance Director through the Town Administrator, RA, Municipal Financial Report, year ended June 30th, 2020. I'll make the motion. Motion to receive said memorandum and report. Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, gonna poll the council. Vice President?
Sorry about that. Aye.
Not a problem. Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilor Santos? Councilor Toronto?
Aye.
Aye.
Willis, and I vote in the affirmative. Okay. Items continued from September 21, 2020, regular meeting, town business update. Number 25, memorandum of the town administrator, town business updates, September 2020.
Motion to receive said memorandum.
Second.
We have a motion second to receive and poll the council. Vice President?
Aye.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilor Santos?
Aye.
Toronto?
Aye.
Aye.
Willis, and I vote in the affirmative as well. Mr. Brown?
Mr. President, this is a report from the month of August, so it's a little bit dated at this point in time. It was submitted to the town clerk on the 1st of September and posted on the town's website. Maybe I'll just highlight a few of the things that are included here that have continued to be ongoing with the staff. Just in regard to the beach and campground, we did operate the beach through September 20th. We extended the season this year so that we could manage the loading of the beach and manage the parking. We typically have a couple good weekends after Labor Day. Departments are in the process of completing their season end reports, and those will be submitted to the town council at the next meeting. Overall, it was a good season. We were obviously challenged by COVID, but we did modify our operating plan in accordance with the guidance that the council adopted. We still had about $1.1 to $1.2 million in seasonal pass sales. So I think we pretty much came in at the revenue forecast that we had originally discussed with the council. Building officials office, as you're aware, Jack Kane retired. We are in the process of recruiting a replacement for him. That's ongoing right now. We're also working on a short-term rental. I would call it an investigation. We're focusing our efforts between Aquidneck School and Easton's Point, working through a map of the neighborhood, trying to identify all of the short-term rentals. working with the staff with data that we have in-house. So that's going well. In the finance department, just so everyone's aware, the audit is coming up. We should be finalizing financial statements related to the major funds by October 15th. Mark will be working on government-wide financials, and the auditor should be in-house during the month of November. The finance office is also working on different studies related to the town's actuary, related to the pension and the OPEB trust fund. The big announcement during September was the SAFER grant at the fire department, $1.8 million to pay for firefighters, 8 new firefighters over the next 3 years. The big news with it not only is the award of the grant to the town, but also that the grant will cover the full cost of the firefighters for those 3 years. Originally, we thought we would get a reimbursement of 75% for the first year, 75% for the second year, and 35% for the third year. But the federal government had changed the rule, so it's 100% for each year. So that's just an outstanding outcome with that grant application that was put together by the fire chief and the planning department. HR is mostly focused on recruitment. We have a lot of recruitment activity going on. So there's a big focus on that. The library, they did get their air conditioner fixed. There was some email about that. But noteworthy is that they did complete their 5-year strategic plan. And I believe, and Mrs. Von Villis would know best, the board of directors has accepted that, and they continue to move forward in a pretty smart fashion. Middletown Prevention Coalition is trying to get their hands around activities related to the opening of school and looking for opportunities to engage the kids and keeping them in a positive space. I've been working a lot with the planning department. We have been working on cost related to bearing utilities on Lower Quinnick Avenue. That's something we'll be bringing to the council within the next couple meetings. We've also been working with estimates related to sidewalks on Purgatory Avenue. And at the last meeting, you approved the sewer impact fees for the sewer fund. So that was a big update right there. The biggest hold up with the planning board is just the ability to meet with members of the board. Police department just completed an update of CALEA. They had I would call it a statistical evaluation. The department did very well, and basically there were no issues reported. So we continue to perform well with our policies and procedures with the police department, and we continue to do well with the accreditation agency. Public Works is in the process. We should be bringing the traffic safety reports, traffic safety studies, the work associated with those. That work will start coming forward to the town council. Tom and Warren are also out doing I'll call it a ditch study, but basically going through the problem areas where ditches were identified and identifying the worst areas so that we can prioritize the money that was appropriated by the town council during the budget process. The school department opened. That seems to be going really well. Rosemarie has given many positive reports on how well it's going. We haven't seen any major COVID issues come out of the school department. I know there's some issues that she is working through just to make sure that we're keeping the buildings safe for the students and teachers. But overall, the school department should be commended for what they did to prepare to open and what the teachers are doing every day, both in the classroom and with the distance learning they're responsible for. If you go by the JFK school, we did a little bit of cleanup in the front of the building. We had talked earlier about the need to repair some sidewalks over at the JFK building. We've done that. We've done some landscaping to clean up the front of the building. We're working with the tree commission. and just doing a little bit of cleanup over there. Tax assessor, as everyone knows, we've delayed mailing out tax bills, and those will actually be going out on October 15th. We were originally holding off because we were waiting for the state to adopt their budget, but now the governor and the General Assembly has made it clear that that's not going to happen until after the election. So we will send out the bills in October, and the first payment will be due December 10th. I am working with IT and our public information officer, Matt Shealy, trying to get the website project, a project schedule in place for that. We met today and we reviewed contract documents and sort of the implementation plan from the vendor. So we've got that underway, and I would expect the next step, besides getting an agreement in place, is sharing the project schedule with you. Just lastly, in my department, we continue to track COVID. The town continues to do well, but it's something that we need to remain vigilant about. We were awarded $75,000 for the Take It Outside grant. Ron Wolansky and myself have been working with the city of Newport and the chamber to get the application set up. That will probably go out tomorrow, but we're looking to get tents, heaters, and jersey barriers out to businesses so that they can stay out between now and the end of the calendar year. So we're looking to try to help some of these people out. Senior housing, I believe I sent an email to everyone. We have a project schedule that has been shared with the council. We are in basically I would say we're 1 month into a 2-month window where we are working on the market study with an appraiser named Steve Dilag, who the town has done work with in with other appraisal-based type things. But Steve is working on what Council Sylvia was saying, where we need a market analysis for the entire town, as well as for the Berkeley Peckham project itself. The consolidation of departments, it's sort of gotten lumped in with, I've been working with department heads for the last 2 weeks. We started the budget process. We're looking at putting together in the upcoming year a 2-year budget, and we've opened up the accounting system and the accounting periods to the department heads. We've opened up the capital improvement program already and started really, I think, a number of discussions. There's 2 sides to the coin. Part of it is how do we move the town forward? And the other is just wrestling with the realities of the revenues that we can anticipate over the next couple of years. We definitely will still be in a belt tightening mode, as well as implementing some necessary changes. That's a quick snapshot. Again, it doesn't necessarily reflect the business update from August. There'll be another update posted tomorrow. Maureen has been on vacation, but she'll get that posted to the website tomorrow for the month of September. And that's the town business update in less than 15 minutes. Hi, Teresa.
Council
Hello,
Sessions.
Sean. Mr. President, thank you. You referred to tax bills. Are you referring to the car tax bills?
Yes, the motor. Yes, car
Okay, not
tax.
the real estate.
No, real estate went out in August, as it typically does, and there'll be 4 payments that will be due on September 10th, December 10th, March 10th, and June 10th.
Right. So
The
you are referring to the car tax, not the real estate. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any councils have any questions of the town administrator? Council Toronto?
Yeah, I just want to thank Sean for that update. That was good. That was, I appreciate that. Got a lot going on, so thank you.
Good. Okay, item number 26, Council Lombardi.
Yeah, Sean, the Kennedy School, I had a few people ask me the question, and I heard you mention the cleanup up front. And the Japanese cherry trees that were cut down, are they going to replace those?
Yes, we had Alan Kirby, the tree warden, look at those trees, the ones that were there. They were not well. So his suggestion was to remove the trees and they will be replaced with some new trees.
Okay, and last question. With the grant money for the firefighters, I thought I heard you say we're in recruiting mode. Where are we at?
We still need 6 firefighters. So we are in another recruitment round. So I think if anyone's interested, they need to get onto the town's website and, you know, sign up to be a firefighter. But we are in, so we've gone through 2 rounds and we've been able to recruit 4 out of the 10 firefighters we need to hire.
Are we drafting any kids from high school?
One of the things that we did do is we did lower the age down to 18. It had previously been, I believe, 21. So we are expanding the opportunity to some of the younger people in the town.
Yeah, I know we always talk about having local, you know, folks working on the fire station and stuff. I'm an advocate of maybe looking at some of the kids in the high school, make them aware of it, and maybe there's a candidate or 2.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown. Anybody else got anything? Okay. Item 26. Resolution of the council requesting the governor to execute a plan for distributing the coronavirus relief fund, funds to the cities and towns.
Motion to pass said resolution.
Second,
Motion second to pass a resolution. Council Flynn.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure if this is discussion or not, but I had emailed Wendy about a missing paragraph at the bottom of this resolution to add resolve that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to every state senator, state representative, and the governor. Typically, there's a distribution paragraph and it was left off.
Okay, thank you for pointing that out. And poll the council. Vice President.
Aye.
Councilor Flynn.
Yes?
Councilor Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilor Santos.
aye.
Councilor Toronto.
Aye.
Councilor
Aye.
Gonzalez. I will also support it. Item number 27, memorandum of the finance director through the town administrator, update on asset and valuation audit RFP.
Motion to receive said memorandum.
Second,
Motion is second to receive. Poll the council. Vice President.
Aye.
Councilor Flynn.
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilor Santos.
aye.
Councilor Toronto.
Aye.
Councilor
Aye.
Lopez, and I vote as well. Mr. Brown, you want to make a comment on that?
I think we just want to make the council aware that we have been seeking a firm to do the audit and valuation the council was looking for as it relates to the accounting and facilities and IT departments, the consolidation. In our first pass at soliciting proposals, we did not get a successful bidder. Actually, no one bid on it. So we are in the process of relooking at that. But we just want to make sure that you're apprised of what we're doing in relation to this.
Okay, thank you. Item number 28, memorandum of the finance director to the town administrator, surplus vehicle in the police department.
Motion to receive said memorandum.
Second,
Motion second to receive. Poll the council. Vice President.
Aye.
Councilor Flynn.
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilor Santos.
aye.
Councilor Toronto.
Aye.
Aye.
Councilor Gonzalez. And I vote in the affirmative. Item number 29, resolution of the council, surplus vehicle in the police department.
Motion to pass said resolution.
Second,
Conversation. Any council? Seeing none. Poll the council. Vice President.
Aye.
Councilor Flynn.
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilor Santos.
aye.
Councilor Toronto.
Aye.
Councilor Vogel.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. Thank you. Item number 30, communication of the tax assessor cancellation of taxes for certain Middletown residents.
Motion to receive said memorandum.
Second,
Motion second to receive. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villis,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. Item number 31, resolution of the council cancellation of taxes for certain Middletown residents.
Motion to pass said resolution.
Second.
A motion second to pass. Any conversation? Hearing none. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villis, and I vote in the affirmative. Thank you. Communication of the tax assessor and finance director, RE, cancellation of taxes for certain Middletown residents.
Motion to receive said memorandum, said communication.
Do we have a second?
Yes, second.
Okay. Motion second to receive. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council
Aye.
Von Villis, and I vote in the affirmative. Item number 33, resolution of the council cancellation of taxes for certain Middletown residents.
Motion to pass said resolution.
Second.
A motion second to pass. Any conversation? Hearing none. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Aye.
Santos, Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council
Aye.
Villis, and I vote in the affirmative. Thank you. Item number 34, memorandum of the finance director, budget adjustments for June 30, 2020.
Motion to receive said memorandum.
Second.
A motion is second to receive. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von
Aye.
Villis. I vote in the affirmative as well. Item number 35, resolution of the council general fund accounts FY 2020 approved budget.
Motion to pass said resolution.
Second.
Here, a motion second to pass said resolution. Any conversation? Hearing none. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council
Aye.
Von Villis, and I vote in the affirmative. Thank you. Item number 36, resolution of the council Parks and Recreation Fund accounts on the FY 2020 approved budget.
Motion to pass said resolution.
Second.
We have a motion second to pass. Any conversation? Hearing none. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council
Aye.
Flores, and thank you. Item number 37, memorandum of the finance director to the town administrator, financial report 2 months ended August 31, 2020.
Motion to receive said memorandum and report.
Second.
A motion second to receive. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council
Aye.
Von, and I vote in the affirmative. Okay. Boards and committees, item number 38. Email resignation of John Brett from the Middletown Preventive Coalition Healthcare Sector.
Motion to receive said resignation with regret.
Second.
A motion is second to receive with regret. Okay, I'll poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villis,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. Item number 39, appointment of one member to the Aquidneck Island Planning Commission, term expiring July 2023. Do I have any recommendations?
Motion to reappoint Arthur S. Weber Jr. to the Aquidneck Island Planning Commission for a term expiring July 2023.
Second.
A motion is second. Any conversation? Hearing none. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Toronto,
Aye.
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. Okay, item number 40, appointment of one member Board of Trustees to complete a term expiring September 2022. Do I have any?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to appoint John W. Nelson III to the Library Board of Trustees for a term expiring September 2022.
Okay,
Second.
we have a motion that's been seconded. Any further nominations? Hearing none. Full council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Aye.
Willis, and I vote affirmative as well. Item number 41, appointment of one member to the Personnel Board of Review. Bipartisan Board, Republican Representative, term expiring June 2023.
Motion to reappoint Robert Crump to the Personnel Board of Review, Republican Representative, for a term expiring June 2023.
Second.
Have a second. Any further nominations? Hearing none. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. Okay, boards and committees. Communication of Madeline Toronto, resignation from the Middletown Preventive Coalition.
Motion to receive said resignation with regret.
Second.
Yes, with regret. I know Madeline, the wife of Councilor Toronto, has done an outstanding job with, on that committee, and she's certainly going to be a loss. So, okay, I'm going to pull the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
Aye.
Council Toronto.
I just want to say, she really did enjoy being on that committee, and she loved that color purple. And so with regrets, I'll say aye.
Aye.
Council Von Villis, and I also vote with regret. Okay, we already did number 23. 43, I'm sorry, 43. 44, appointment of 4 members to the Beach Commission, terms expiring November.
Mr. President, sorry.
Finished.
I understand, but he's skipping 43. It's new applicants
We did it earlier.
Beginning of the meeting.
for the same, okay, I read it as there was other, I read it as there was another vacancy. My apologies.
Mr. President?
Wait a minute, let me finish reading it in.
Oh.
Everybody's super anxious tonight. A little Halloween candy for everybody, a little early tonight, maybe?
Too much.
Okay. Appointment of 4 members to the Beach Commission, terms expiring November 2022. I will take nominations.
Mr. President,
Councilor Santos,
I would like to nominate Charlene Rose Cirillo, John Cremens, William Seipel, and Maureen McCain.
okay,
Second.
have a second. Any further nominations? Hearing none. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
Aye.
Councilor Santos,
Aye.
Councilor Toronto,
Aye.
Councilor
Aye.
Von, and I vote in the affirmative. Item number 45, appointment of 1 member to the Library Board of Trustees, term expiring September 2023.
Motion to reappoint Joan DeFinis to the Library Board of Trustees for a term expiring September 2023.
Second.
Do we have any further nominations? Hearing none. Poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Lombardi,
Aye.
Councilor Santos,
Aye.
Councilor Toronto,
Aye.
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. Okay, item number 46, appointment of 1 member to the Personnel Board, term expiring December 2023.
Motion to reappoint Ronald N. Dory to the Personnel Board, term expiring December 2023.
Second,
Okay, we have a second. Any further nominations? Hearing none, poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Council Von Villas,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. Item number 27, appointment of one member to the Open Space and Fields Committee, term expiring November 2023.
Motion to reappoint Nicholas P. Coogan to the Open Space and Fields Committee for a term expiring November 2023.
Second,
Okay, any further nominations? Hearing none, poll the council. Vice President,
Aye.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
Aye.
Council Santos,
aye.
Council Toronto,
Aye.
Aye.
Von Villas, and I vote as well in the affirmative.
You're not going to believe this.
Time is it?
Guys did a nice job tonight. Motion to adjourn.
I mean, we don't have anything continued to the next meeting?
We are good. We are good. Excellent job.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second,
We still could put more on this docket.
Poll the council. Vice President,
As Rick would say, enthusiastically, yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Lombardi,
I'm on board with you, Paul. Yes.
Council Santos,
indubitably, yes.
Council
Indubitably.
Toronto,
Yes.
Council Von Villas,
Yes.
and I vote in the affirmative. All right, be safe, stay well till the next time we meet.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good job, guys.
Oh, my.